Well, good evening, everyone. We're live Tuesday night, as always, 8 p.m. here on the SLG Network, YouTube, and other social media platforms. This is Sports with Rich. As always, I'm Rich Mancuso. Welcome in, everyone, and be a part of the program, as always, and the Cube. Questions and comments, as always. Fact of the week coming up, of course. And there he is. We'll have a lot of baseball, too, of course, with the winter meetings. But you know what? That's a strange face by my side tonight as we do this Tuesday show on December 6th, 2022. As the year keeps flying by, not much left to it. There he is. Welcome back, Riz. Robert Rizzo back on the program. You know, wasn't here last week. Again, our condolences on the passing of your grandfather, Wiz. Good to see you back. And of course, the week before I wasn't here. So we haven't been together for 2 weeks. And now we're back together. My young protege back. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for the condolences. I'm glad to be back. I got a bunch of energy, and we have so much to discuss. You said it before. MLB winter meetings, NFL Week 13, NBA, FIFA World Cup. You name it, we're going to talk about it right here on the SLG Network.
As always, like, comment, and subscribe here at the SLG Network, Sports with Rich, and my channel on YouTube, Rich Mancuso. Would appreciate that. And don't forget to leave your comments and questions in the cube at the bottom. They're always welcome. I'm social media as well as the Wiz. We're being scrolled always at the bottom of the screen. Ring786 at Twitter, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. I write for LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, among others. And you, Wiz, how do they reach you again?
You can always follow me on Twitter, RobertRiz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and catch all my daily content on Latino Sports.
Okay, so let's get to it, Wiz. Good to have you back in the chair, back in the saddle this week with me. And let's right away go to Major League Baseball. That becomes an all-year topic now. And these winter meetings in San Diego, day 2, some happenings. But again, free agency has already started. We've seen some big signings already. We saw the Mets grab Justin Verlander. We'll talk about that. We'll also look at that. These $1 billion, over $1 billion or more in contracts already with baseball and free agency. All in San Diego. Howie Carpenter will check in with us at the bottom of the hour. Talk more about that. And Corey Bellinger today, 1 year, $17.5 million for the Cubs. That's astronomical for 1 year for Bellinger, who's back, and with the Cubs. He'll help the Cubs there. A lot of people say, he should have been back with the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are in that phase right now where they've got to fill some voids with free agency there as well. The big story came out of New York. It still does. Before we get to Aaron Judge, we'll talk about Jacob deGrom. The 5-year deal he received, and he's on his way to Texas. It's old news by now, but we know why he did it. He wasn't content. That's why he went to Texas. My sources, as I wrote on NewYorkSportsDay.com, has been confirmed by a few others, wasn't happy here in New York. So good riddance, Jake. You're not going to win a World Series in Texas, but the Mets did better, and we'll talk about why. But what did you feel about that, Wiz, about deGrom?
That was a big surprise on Friday night. Twitter blew up immediately. deGrom to the Texas Rangers. It was 5 years for $185 with an opt-in for the 6th year, $222 million. Me and you in the industry throughout the season, everyone throughout the industry thought he would get a 2nd year, 3rd year deal at most. He ended up getting a 5-year. You can't blame him. He made the right move for him and his family. And we'll talk about it with Howie Carpenter, but there's so many factors that go into free agency. And I know winning is one of the number one factors. But at the same time, I think deGrom made the right choice for him, his well-being, and his family. And we saw it. He's getting paid.
Look, Met fans were unhappy about it. Of course, he was their franchise guy. He was the number 3 pitcher, maybe in franchise history, behind Seaver and Doc Gooden, or in between that. Set all types of records. Gave Met fans a thrill at Citi Field as a New York Met homegrown player. No longer now, and his legacy is no longer in New York. That's the shame of it. He didn't want to be here, and the Mets made the right decision. As you read my column on New York Sports Day, and also from people like talked to in the baseball industry know all about it. Wasn't happy here, and also the fact that Jacob deGrom is injury prone, and the Mets made the right decision not giving him those years and the money, and moved on from that. So thank you, Jake, for being in New York, being a good New York Met. That's over with. Be interesting to see the reaction of Met fans when he comes to Citi Field. First time in the opposing dugout or on the mound for the Texas Rangers at the end of August. Let it be. Jacob deGrom will not win a World Series with the Texas Rangers. And it was a risk for the Rangers based on all the injuries that deGrom has had in the past. And I'm sure the Mets looked at that whiz. And Steve Cohen, though, the owner, making the moves. He's got the money. The whole baseball world knows that. He doesn't stop. He wants to win. The owner is spending money different from the old Wilpon regime ownership of the Mets, where things like this wouldn't happen. Locking up the closer, the best in baseball, Edwin Diaz, to that contract when free agency started, and a good one, and a richest relief pitcher now in baseball, money-wise, with a contract. But then comes back with the rumor we kept hearing. Is he going to be Carlos Rodon or this guy who was signed yesterday? I was not shocked about it, and I think it was a great move, as I wrote on NewYorkSportsDay.com. Justin Verlander, the Hall of Famer to be. He needs 19 wins now as a Met. Will end his career to win 300 games, 2 years, $85 million. A 40-year-old, yeah, you can question that. Also with Max Scherzer, 38 years old to be. A combined 72 years of age as your 1-2 in the rotation. But the proper supplement to replace Jacob deGrom, this was a winning idea by the Mets. They know they've got him for 2 years. It's a way to get the deGrom stuff out the window. And yeah, they're old, both of them. Anything can happen. We know when pitchers get to a certain age, Ridge, they are injury prone. That could certainly happen here. But the Mets came in here now knowing they want to win now, not later. With a minor league system they don't want to touch. They don't want to get rid of that. They want to build it up. Your feelings on Verlander now as a Met?
You proved it right then and there. Your point with winning, they want to win. That's a move a winning franchise does. You lose out on Jacob deGrom, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Within 48 hours, you sign a 3-time Cy Young Award winner in Justin Verlander. And when it comes to winning, him and Scherzer did it in Detroit. They have ties to that. All a bunch of Cy Youngs in Queens. It's a great addition by the Mets. 2 years, $86 million with a vesting option at $35 million. 2 starts at Citi Field for his career. He hasn't played well that much at Citi Field, but he's played well at Yankee Stadium, and he knows that experience, and he's ready to play under the bright lights in New York.
So, Liz, last year they were talking about the top duo for the Mets last season would be deGrom, Scherzer. Both of them really weren't that overpowering. Scherzer was injured, deGrom was injured, but now they got it again. Now they have Scherzer at the top and Verlander to fall, and Carrasco locked up. The Mets have still a lot of work to do, with that owner, Steve Cohen, the GM, Billy Epler, mean business. The winter meetings, 2 days more to go, and we'll see what transpires out of San Diego with that. In the meantime, today, Justin Turner, Trey Turner with the Phillies yesterday, $300 million, 11 years, and that was extraordinary. These contracts are blowing my mind.
They're blowing my mind. Every single time I go on Twitter, it's a new contract. $300 million for Trey Turner. And then we found out later in the day, he turned down a bigger contract that would have gotten paid more than Francisco Lindor with the San Diego Padres. He wanted to be in Philly. A great move by the Phillies. They just lost out on the World Series by 2 games. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper ties right there. That's a winning move for Philly.
It goes to show that the owners have the money, that's for sure. They have luxury tax money going into teams. The new collective bargaining agreement, this is what the players wanted. They got it. There's no salary cap in baseball, as we know. So players are going to get what they want. And the agents are now in command of all this, including the one Scott Boras. It also shows that the teams like the Oakland A's, the lower level teams, the lower market teams, they're not spending the money. I go back years ago, before all this free agency and all these big contracts really got to where they are today. Remember George Steinbrenner, the late George Steinbrenner, the Yankees would spend the money. And he'd tell the Minnesota Twins, and he'd tell the owner of the Twins then, forget his name, it'll lose me right now, regardless. He would say, look, because the Twins were complaining the Yankees were hogging everything up to win. Well, Steinbrenner said, you're getting money from the salary luxury tax, spend it. The owners have the money, and they're showing it, and they want those fans in the stands, and they want a winning product. And Steve Cohen has become a threat to them all. There's no doubt about it. He's got the money. He's the richest owner in the game. But now let's turn our attention to the talk of the winter meetings, the suspense every minute, every day. You're on Twitter, reloading your Twitter handle. You got to reload Twitter every second because of this guy, Aaron Judge. Where is he headed? Now, one report by John Heyman, a colleague, was misinformation. And he doesn't do that much. He's a well-respected writer and reporter. Had Judge going to the Giants for sure. Yankees have put a good offer on the table. The Giants apparently have upped that a little more. The question now is when, where, how much Aaron Judge gets. My sources are telling me it's still not 50-50. Judge hasn't been spotted in San Diego at the winter meeting. But I think that Judge, based on the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year front photo today, and the reports in that Time Magazine article that Aaron Judge was not happy about the way the Yankees have been leaked all this out, and certain other things with Brian Cashman. Judge, and there was this dream by his girlfriend that he would be a Yankee and they'd get married. That's happened, but the dream went further, saying he would become and go home and become a San Francisco Giant. Question is how much, where, when. We all wait. It could happen in a moment. It could happen tonight. Could happen tomorrow. My sources are telling me it's more toward the Giants than the Yankees, but you never know. I think it's up to Judge. Does he want to remain in New York? That's it.
Exactly that. We never know. Until we see it officially, we're never going to know. And hopefully we hear about it tonight, hopefully tomorrow. But by the end of the winter meetings, I think we know for sure where Judge is heading. Giants, Yankees are the front runner. I believe it's 50-50 right now. The financial terms are right around the same terms, honestly. $340 for 9 years with the Yankees, last recorded. $360 million over 9 years for the Giants. But hey, that could change every freaking minute now because the winter meetings, it's a big complexion. A lot of changes hour by hour, not even day by day now.
But you know, Wiz, what certainly is doing this, Aaron Judge, the biggest name in the game, is keeping baseball in the headlines while everything else is going on. And that's what baseball wants, and they got it. Definitely, and the commissioner, Rob Ramford, is not commenting about that, commenting on other things, including today at the winter meeting, saying that the clock or another rule change for 2024 hasn't been decided yet. That they do have, I think the automatic strike or whatever they're doing. The winter meetings continue, business at hand. Aaron Judge still the main topic. That's going to come to an end soon. Hey, how about the trade that the Brewers and the Mariners made? Jesse Winkle to the Brewers, and to the Mariners, they're able second baseman Colton Wong, which I don't understand that at all. Our producer Avery behind the scenes wasn't happy about that trade. I don't understand what the Brewers are doing. Not take anything away from Winkler, but Colton Wong is one of the premier second basemen in the league.
Yeah, that definitely caught me by surprise. Winker heading to the Brewers. He had a career low year last year in 2022 with the Mariners, batting .219 for a batting average. He's only 29 years old. He's got a lot left in the tank. Meanwhile, Colton Wong, career hitter, .261, and he's 32 years old. He's been in multiple postseasons. He knows how to win, and that's what Seattle needs right now. They got to get over that hump of Houston, and that's the juggernaut of the American League.
You know what? The winter meetings have become more about the free agents than the trades. I've been there. I didn't go this year, neither did you. But when you hang around the lobby, that's what they do. Everyone's on their phones. You wait for a trade. But now everybody's waiting to see, where is Aaron Judge headed? Frankly, I can't wait till this is over with. I'm sure the Yankees can't wait. Their fans can't wait. Frankly, I don't care. Just end it.
Yeah,
the suspense, though, it's out of hand.
It's getting to the point, the suspense, you brought it up, but Monday Night Football, right before kickoff, Aaron Judge is meeting up with Tom Brady. Like it's a
Mm.
nice gesture and all, but the sweepstakes, it reminds me of Kawhi Leonard back in 2019 where they're tracking every move he makes. Like, cool it now. He's just a person at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's going to be a person with an awful lot of money. I want to, and where he's going to put that money.
Paycheck.
Probably the biggest contract in Major League Baseball, maybe among all athletes.
He's going to need his own Brinks truck.
Yes, that's for sure. I'll help him if he wants. How would you think of the New Era committee in baseball with the new Hall of Famer Fred McGriff? I thought it was a good choice. So Don Mattingly not getting in, that disappoints a lot of fans that love Don Mattingly, especially in New York as a Yankee. But Fred Crime Dog McGriff, newest member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, didn't get in there when his eligibility was up, came short. But that's why this committee was formed. So congratulations to Fred McGriff. It was before your time, Wiz, with the Braves. That was his last team.
Just watching the highlights across MLB Network the last few days, that guy was a complete stud. 8 seasons with 30-plus homers, 6 seasons with 100-plus RBIs. He calculated month by month how many RBIs he needed, how many homers he needed. That's a Hall of Famer right then and there, just to calculate all that.
He definitely would have got my vote if I was eligible to vote for that. And also, I remember McGriff being a killer against the Mets here in New York. Come to Shea Stadium, boy, he would demolish the Mets all the time, especially when the Mets and Braves had that early rivalry going a few years ago. Years back when McGriff played for the Braves, and later on, the Braves still haunt the Mets, as you know.
Just like that.
So the Yankees, besides Judge, made news that GM Brian Cashman was still working. It's official, 4-year contract. Yankee fans aren't too happy about it. And Brian Cashman is still with the Yankees. He's been there for the eternity. He'll be there as long as he wants the job. And this since 1998. Since 1998, since Cashman took over as GM, 16 of 3,946 games, they haven't been in contention. So if they don't win, they'll go all the way in October and win a championship. Though he's won 5 of them as GM with the Yankees. You got to look at that. That's pretty impressive. Only 16 games have they not been in contention at the end.
Exactly.
That's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. And it's funny because you and Howie Carpet brought it up when the night the Yankees got eliminated by the Astros in the ALCS. Cashman, if he was on the market right now for the next general manager, he'd be the most sought-out target for all franchises available. So the Yankees have a sure-in with Cashman. He's been the GM my whole lifetime. Yankee fans my age don't know any other general manager in that regime.
Look, I am not a big fan of his. A lot of Yankee fans aren't, but I'm sure he's doing the best he can to get the Yankees to the top again. They're trying everything. They're even still in discussions with Brendan Eddy to bring him back in the outfield. And speaking of the Mets, there, in New York, all eyes also now on filling the rotation, also filling the bullpen holes, and also looking at where Brandon Nimmo will go. And we'll talk to Howie Carpenter about that at the bottom of the hour. A lot of baseball. They will continue. And we get any updates during the next 2 hours or more here on the program, Sports with Rich, live here on the SLG Network tonight. You'll know it. We'll know it. We'll bring it back to you, and we'll analyze it. Remember, they're 3 hours behind us, Eastern time. We are. So we'll see what happens. But the winter meetings are fun, and it's because of Aaron Judge. All right, let's go to Week 13 of the NFL, Wiz, because the NFL's in December now. And when you get to December, that's where it comes to, I say, fruition. A very interesting Week 13 in the NFL. Tom Brady last night, once again being Brady, his 44th career, fourth quarter comeback, which broke a tie with Peyton Manning as the Bucs now go to 6-6 in the AFC South. So they're in it again. They're looking for a playoff spot here. 2 quarterbacks down. The Vikings, we know that Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers is done for the season. And we find out today that Lamar Jackson is a sprained, a sprained PCL. He's out for the next 3 weeks. And Tua with the ankle, but he's expected to play on Sunday. The Eagles continue their run. They'll have that division in the NFL East, that's for sure, in the East. And Tua again, we could talk about him. We could talk about the Bengals, 3-0 versus the Chiefs now because of Joe Burrow. The Chiefs can't beat the Bengals with Joe Burrow, which is interesting. So it's a lot of interesting things in Week 13. You guys will analyze the coming week later in your picks. But let's talk about the Giants and the Commanders overtime game. First time the Giants were in an overtime game in, I think, 30 years at the Meadowlands. The Giants could have won this game.
Definitely could have won this game.
I guess a tie is as good as a win, but you needed the win. And they play again in 2 weeks. They play again in 2 weeks, and that's going to be shifted now, national TV. They're on the NBC Sunday night game, right?
Yeah, they got flex for Week 15, Commanders, Giants. You wouldn't want it any other way. Tie ball game, 20-20 on Sunday. This past Sunday, it was an ugly football game from the first quarter on. 7 of 27 on third down combined, 9 sacks, 5 turnovers, and like we said, 20-20. That's 40 points. Not a lot of action overall. It was a lot of defensive plays. Like we said, they meet again in Week 15, but the NFC East is turning into the NFC Beast. It used to be NFC West was like that. It shifted. All 4 teams in that division might make the playoffs, and we'll talk about the playoffs
You're right.
But back and forth, week by week, the playoff spots change, and you got to love it if you're a football fan.
Washington's a tough team to play. They are. Tough defense. They got better and better as the weeks progressed. The Giants found out that on Sunday. And this Jets offense, everyone was talking about Mike White doing it again. Yeah, he had it. Not too bad. Mike White was picked twice. He passed for 369 yards in his second start. Jets went to 7-5 with their loss. They're still in the playoff hunt in the AFC. I think they're going to need 10 wins as well as the Giants to get in their division. But the Jets' failure to get in the end zone to convert, and that's what hurt White this time. And you wonder if Zach Wilson's going to come back. He's been doing some extra type of studying and workouts this week, and I think Mike White still has a job.
I totally agree with you. Mike White still has the job. They struggled on all offensive fronts this past Sunday on third down in clutch time, honestly. 3 for 16 on third down, 2 for 5 on fourth, 5 field goals. Meanwhile, they had 7+ red zone attempts. Just like that. There's only 1 touchdown. It's not a winning formula against a team like Minnesota.
No, but the Jets have the Bills this weekend, and that's going to be a tough one to crack up in Buffalo for them. And we'll see what Mike White does against the Bills up there in Buffalo. A game the Jets will need to win with 5 left. They have to win this game because that Viking game was a tough loss. They almost won it. They had it, but the Jets are here. They've arrived. They're competitive. They're good. Jet fans should be happy about that. But again, they're going to need 10 wins to get in, I believe. But A.J. Brown, 2 touchdowns against his former team, the Titans, on Sunday.
And in other words, you could just call it the redemption tour. Tennessee slacking against Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, 8 receptions, 119 yards with 2 TDs. This is his second multi-touchdown game this season. And within 48 hours, the Titans decided who made that trade, their general manager, John Robinson. They fired him just like that because right now, if Tennessee had a wide receiver like A.J. Brown, they'd be a Super Bowl contender. I get it. They have a playoff spot. At the end of the day, they're no team with a Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen. They need weapons to beat those type of teams.
And Deshaun Watson's return, we waited for it. The Browns get the 27-14 win over the Texans. He passed for 131 yards. And what do you think of Watson's return?
He looked really rusty out there. He was struggling on offense, just quick awareness, accurate passes. He didn't have much. 12 of 22 and 131 yards, 1 interception, 1 sack. But all the points scored for the Browns that game was on defense, special teams, or field goals. So hopefully next week when they go up against Cincinnati, against Joe Burrow, they have to score points against that type of team. So hopefully Watson balls out against them because he was getting bashed a lot the last week or so.
The Rams continue to fall. They're not going back to the Super Bowl. They're out. Baker Mayfield, though, comes out early this evening. Baker Mayfield is now their starting quarterback. Matthew Stafford is out for the year with the back injury, but it doesn't matter. The Rams are going nowhere. So that's Mayfield's job. And let's take a look at the NFL playoff picture this Tuesday night in early December. Take a look at the conference here. The AFC is the spotlight, no doubt about it. And the Jets there are vying for a spot. And then we could look at the NFC as well. But I think the focus is more on that AFC because there are so many teams that have a shot to get in with about 5 weeks left to go, 5 games to go. And again, you just mentioned, you look at the NFC, you got the Giants battling there for a spot. And they're going to need 10 wins. But the Eagles on the verge of clinching. The Vikings could have got a clinch. They're going to wait another week. They got that too. But the AFC, no doubt, Riz, that's the conference in the NFL to look at as you go down the stretch here in the NFL.
No, definitely the AFC, game by game, week by week. Those are must-watch games for all those AFC contenders. Bills and Chiefs are tied at 9-3 for the one spot. At the end of the season, week 18, Ravens close out against the Cincinnati Bengals. That could be the AFC North battle right there. It could get decided that night. Chargers late running them over the Jets. Maybe we could see that. Injuries are derailing every team across the board. Titans are running the AFC South. The whole division struggles other than the Titans. So there's a lot of question marks for the AFC, and I bet it's going to change by next Tuesday.
So have the red zone in action the next 5 weeks because it's going to be an exciting finish to this NFL season. By the way, Riz, 2020, the Giants, that Giant game ended in a tie. How do you wager that? I mean, what happens when it's a tie and you wager on a game like that?
Everything's a push, I believe, with the result. But it's funny because it was a 2020 tie, but the odds closed at the total 40.5. So the Vegas bookmakers, again, I say it every week, they were right on the dot for every game, especially the Giants-Commanders game, right on the dot, 40.5 points, final scores 2020. Like, how do you make that up?
I don't know. I'm not a gambler. I would know that.
And no, it shocks me every single week.
So it's unbelievable. I mean, you see a tie, which doesn't happen much in the NFL. You'll see it, I mean, when do you get ties? You very rarely see ties at the end of games now. We'll talk about that in the World Cup later on.
I'd say twice a year, maybe once a year at most.
Yeah. Oh, more NFL later. You and Avery will have your picks for week 13, is it? Or 14?
Week 14, just like that.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it. And we're in the holiday season as well, but it's that time for the holiday season for me with this. It is every week on the program when I'm here. And that's the fact of the week. Let's get it going. Here we go. It's not trivia, the fact of the week. Before we go to break, Avery, come on in, and here we go. Let's you guys get a crack at it. Only I come up with these things, no one else does. Not trivia, fact of the week. Just look at the two of you, just waiting for the question. And if you get it out there as well, comment, question in the cube, comment. I got bobbleheads to give away. Cal is no longer going to be producing it for the time being. And I got his address. I got to ship him the bobblehead for Christmas, the Aaron Judge one, which now is going to be very coveted, as I say to have. Guys, here you go. Fact of the week. Cleveland, the city of Cleveland has 3 titles in sports among the major leagues, the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, whatever. They don't have a hockey team. The fact of the week this week, again, not trivia, what are the cities that surpass Cleveland? Give me the names of the cities that surpass Cleveland with championships in the Major League. Remember, Cleveland is only 3. What are the other cities that surpass Cleveland? This might be a tough one for you guys because it's not city, it's cities. That's your fact of the week.
How many are there? Can you tell us how many cities there are?
Yes, I can. I'll give you that. That's all I'm going to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 other cities. Okay, so
6.
Yes.
LA, New York, that's 2. So this is overall titles for all of the sports.
Yeah.
Chicago.
That surpassed Cleveland. That surpassed. This is a crazy fact.
Green Bay. Green Bay's on there for
Why would he?
sure.
I'm sure he would say that, but you're wrong. So far, you've been wrong on every one.
Is it more or less titles?
No, it's six cities surpass Cleveland.
Oh, so they
Remember,
six
Cleveland
cities
had
with
only
less titles
3.
than Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said with more. I was like, well, the
Oh,
Packers have
my
like 5
bad.
rings.
You're right. It was less. You're right. Right.
Okay, so 6 cities with less than 3 rings.
With less, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Maybe like Seattle.
Among all the leagues. Nope.
Toronto.
Please jump in anytime. We got to go to break and get to Howie Carter. Dead.
I'm trying to think. Ooh, this is a tough one. The Rangers,
no.
Texas, Arlington. That's the city.
No.
Oh, what about Winnipeg?
No. No, but they only have a hockey team. I'm talking about all sports.
Oh,
This is something we got to throw to Howie too.
Yeah, I know. And knowing me, I probably got it wrong, and Howie will correct me. That's who he is. Think about it.
Think about it.
Oof. Arizona.
No.
That's a state. That's a
state. Right?
Phoenix. I'm still thinking like.
I'll give
This
you
one-
one. Dallas.
This one's
I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Dallas.
The whole city of Dallas has less than 3 rings.
According to my facts.
I thought the Cowboys won like 2 in the 90s.
I might have to rip
Milwaukee.
this. I might have to rip this fact out.
Milwaukee doesn't have so Milwaukee doesn't have all of them.
I might have put the wrong. I have to double check this, but this is what I got out of the facts where I get them.
All right.
So,
This is one of the toughest ones. We got a comment. We got a guess from John Palua. He guessed New York.
What did he say?
New York, Philly, Detroit, Atlanta.
It's probably
He's
Detroit
wrong.
for sure.
He's
No, it's
wrong.
not Detroit.
No.
Detroit's a good guess.
Dallas is one of them.
The Lions don't have any.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know
let's just
anything
think
about
about
hockey. I don't know
it,
how many the
'cause I gotta-
Flyers have.
Let's take this break on Sports with Rich. We'll get back to it later. I'll double check the fact and bring Howie Carpenter in after the break. Nice try, guys. Let me double check it. Sports with Rich live on the SLG Network here on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's with Robert Rizzo. That's our great producer, Avery. Back after this break, and Howie Carpenter will join us on the other side. Stay with us.
Doing bad, they gon' love you. Yeah. Doing good, they gon' hate you. Yeah. Look down on your come up, but to the hustle, stay faithful. Big goals by the rate full. Drip everywhere, that's wasteful. Accent color, that's tasteful. We front and center at the tape. Got 3-5 in my blunt. Yeah. 4 extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I was out of luck. Yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling that. They feeling it. They feeling it. Show her in the truck, then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling that. She feeling that. She feeling that. Niggas talking tough, yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling that. He feeling that. He feeling that. Save me a gold casket. My life been tragic. Good gas and blunts pass. Blow out a nigga head gaskets. Fuck boys don't need them. Yo bitch crazy, better keep her. Yo niggas high when it's time to ride, but I bet that bitch start squeezing. Smoke sessions in the evening. Private chef and we eat it. It's a long way from voyeur to 4 years in Lamborghinis. Move different, can't see me. Only pictures ain't on TV. Tribe meetings and vibe readings. These space race like E.T. We had roaches in the kitchen. Now it's rooms in the villa. Took the cards I was dealt, flipped them. I'm the one who do the dealing. Did so much of my own, baby. I don't give a fuck about feelings. Everybody got a lot to say, but ain't nobody came with it. Fuck it, I spend it. Had it, I lent it. Trusted some niggas, now I regret it. I can forgive it, never forget it. Niggas still out there, I ain't gon' get it. Yeah, this is it, I can't slow up. Niggas muddy from the pole up. Big sauce like a cold cut. You either hoe up or you gon' blow up. Got 3-5 in my blunt. 4 extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that. I was out of luck, yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling that, they feeling that, they feeling that. Show her in the truck, then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling that, she feeling that, she feeling that. Niggas talking tough, yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling that, he feeling that, he feeling that. Where the ghost mean power, you a star, Omari Hardwick. Seen a lot of hardships, we was taking long trips. Talking through the glass, gotta medicate with strong hits of ganja. Gotta watch how people move around you. My brother got sittings cause of snitch. Niggas dying over bitches, niggas lie like it's religion. If you been dying, you feel me. Gotta keep applying pressure, double up, that boy can stretch it. Good credit or no credit, they need it, go get it. Lil' baby, this is me, what you get is what you see. And you best believe we wore red. Got 3-5 in my blunt, pour extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that. I was out of luck, yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling that, they feeling that, they feeling that. Show her in the truck, then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling that, she feeling that, she feeling that. Niggas talking tough, yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling that, he feeling that, he feeling that.
The door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. They say you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
Hour Sports with Rich here on the SLG Network and YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Rich Mancuso, the Wiz Robert Rizzo. Please look at our sponsors. And Ray Wiz, I got good news today. We're going to get some of that popcorn for Christmas. You know that? Did you get that message?
I got the shocking news today. Shout out to Nick Alvarez, one of our producers on the SLG Network. Actually, another host of the Bayou City Boys, covering all of sports. So
we're going to get some of that popcorn.
Very
I can't
hyped
wait
for
to
the popcorn.
taste it. Yeah. All right. Let me clarify the fact of the week, and then we'll get Howie Carpenter in here right away. I know he's in the cube waiting patiently. Here's where it should be. Cleveland has more titles in the Big Four sports than what other cities? That's the way the question should be for the fact. Cleveland has more titles in the Big Four sports than what other cities in the Big Four sports. So, Avery, if you heard that, Wiz, you heard that. Everyone else, clarify it. My bad. I read it wrong, but that's it. Okay, enough of that. Let's bring in Howie Carpenter. Howie.
What's up, gentlemen?
Thanks for waiting. Hey, Howie, thanks for waiting. Did you hear the fact of the week? Did I screw it up?
I think you should make that one the artifact of the week and bury it.
As old as me and you? Howie
Like
Carpenter,
2,000 years old. Put it in a time capsule.
He's a regular with us on the program. Colleague of mine for almost 40 years now. He's an official scorer of Major League Baseball, as well as an esteemed columnist for NewYorkSportsDay.com that I write for, and also on the radio too. Mad Dog Radio on Sirius, right? Sirius Satellite, right, Howie?
Yeah, MLB, NFL, and and Mad Dog.
And baseball and all the other sports. And let's go into baseball review right now with Aaron Judge out there in San Diego. What did you make of that tweet by John Heyman today? And does that lead more to, even though it's been deleted and all of that was a mishap, does it lead to Aaron Judge definitely looking his eye on the San Francisco Giants? That's your feel on it, isn't it? You text me about that earlier this evening. You think Judge is almost going to be a Giant?
Well,
I feel that way.
Let me preface it by the Giants announced that they've signed Mitch Haniger from Seattle for 3 years. Now, that doesn't mean that, they're out of the Judge thing here, but don't forget, as you mentioned on the show already, that they're in San Diego. That's 3 hours behind. We may not get a decision until about 10 o'clock. But let me give you the genesis of what I feel. John Heyman has a connection. So agents know everything. They know what's going on, especially even for not their own guys. Now, Scott Boras may have heard something that Judge may be going to the Giants, and through the vehicles, or how you get information these days, the Yankees may have reached out to Boras. They may know something, or Boras knows something and reached out to the Yankees for one of his guys. Don't forget, the Yankees are going to have to do something here if Judge walks. Now, you don't want them to repeat, if Judge does go. I'm writing a column tonight about they shouldn't repeat the same mistake that they did when Robinson Cano walked. They went for Jacoby Ellsbury. He turned out to be useless. Now here, I can see, maybe they bring in, if they don't get this money spent on Judge, they bring in one of Boris's clients like Xander Bogaerts or Carlos Correa or Brandon Nimmo, who I don't think the Yankees are seriously in on. I really don't. I think if Nimmo goes anywhere, he goes to Toronto, because they are dying for left-hand hitters. Their lineup is loaded with big righties. It was their problem last year. It's what the Yankees have gone through. So, the genesis of this is if Judge leaves, we're into plan B, as I wrote about on the column a couple of weeks ago. I can see them maybe, if this does happen and he leaves, I can see them going after a big-name shortstop. There's a pretty good outfielder out there who may not be that expensive in Jurickson Profar, who's a switch hitter. He's only 29, So let's see where the dice rolls, and we may know by tonight. Look, everyone's ripped. A lot of fans are down on Cashman. I understand it. He seems to have been a little stubborn in his philosophy. I mean, Rich, you know me over the past 5 years, how many times I've yelled for left-hand hitting for the Yankees. It's shown up every year when they've tried to make a run. So, look, he's smart enough to try and come up with a decent backup plan, I would hope. And then, that could be maybe dipping into another free agent signing.
Based on your answer, first off, thank you for joining us, Howie. It's always a pleasure having you on. I get called the Wiz, but truly, when I see you in the press box, you're the Wiz. You're teaching everyone else other stuff. But my first question, based off your answer, all the free agents available that you listed, Nimmo, Bogaerts, Correa, who do you think out of those guys could improve the Yankees' chances and championship odds for 2023?
Well, I like Correa. I don't buy, look, you want to say he was in the scandal? He's still an eligible player. And don't forget, the Astros, to their credit, were able to fill, his spot when he left, because he got a lot of big hits for the Astros when they won that first championship, and certainly the times they beat the Yankees. So it's a case of, if you can't beat him, get him to join us, because he's still a productive player. He's had some back issues over the years. He's not that old, and he's still a pretty good shortstop, so look, that would be a huge upgrade over Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, with all due respect. He's a backup shortstop. That's what that is.
What about Volpe, Cabrera, or Pedraza? More so Pedraza and Volpe, they're two top prospects. Do you see, them not going with that, as they expressed an interest in doing so next season?
They're not going to go with – first of all, Volpe may be a second baseman. They're not going to go with two rookies at both those spots.
Okay.
I can see them trading Gleyber Torres for something they need, and then plugging in DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah.
You still got Donaldson on your roster. What are you going to do? Let him rot and eat the money? You're not going to do that. Even if he plays this year, you're still going to need a third baseman down the road. But DJ can take second, which is his best position, if you use Torres in the right way to make a trade. Then you sign maybe a big free agent shortstop, and you got Rizzo. That's a pretty decent infield there, certainly better than last year.
But
the thing would be the problem.
They might be able to get some good value in a trade, but they trade Gleyber Torres. They can get something back. And I think New York Yankee fans are fed up with Torres, let alone, I just think Gleyber just hasn't worked out. I said he was overrated from the beginning. Had the 1 year, again, we talked about this before. He came in, all blaze of glory, and did the job his first year, but after that, he hasn't been really very inconsistent ball player. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, he still has value though in trade market because he's 2
Yeah.
years of control and he's still pretty young. But right now, I'm sure he dissuaded the Yankee management for some of the things I saw. He thinks he's Robinson Cano. He catches pop-ups so nonchalant. Remember, he almost dropped a pop-up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he one hands everything. And this, I pointed this out before, I think, on the show. Rizzo had back issues at the end of the year, and he was throwing him making those loopy throws for the sure outs when he got a ground ball. Rizzo would have to stretch out for the throw because if you noticed some of the games when guys would make a hard throw to him and they had a sure out, he wouldn't even step toward the ball, to take pressure off his back. I'm sure somebody said to Torres, stop making those stupid loopy throws to him and throw him the goddamn ball. Excuse my language.
Yeah. No, free feel to say. We said what we want on Sports with Rich, shall we? Before I'm going to get off the Judge subject and leave you with one day. What is your gut feeling on this? Do you believe Aaron Judge signs with the Yankees, or does he go west with the Giants?
At this point in time, I'm really pessimistic that he's coming back. But could be wrong, obviously.
And that's all I get asked. I walk outside, I go in here on the phone, everything. Text her, where's Judge going? I don't know. I don't think they even know.
I think Heyman simply jumped the gun, and the old saying, "Where there's smoke, there's fire." And Susan Slusser, who writes for San Francisco Chronicle, very, very, very renowned baseball writer. She's done it a long time. She has all the contacts. She's getting a sense that the players already know that he may be coming west. So
that's in the right direction. Getting Verlander, as I wrote in New York Sports Day, I believe it was a good move. Now, in the case they don't get Nimmo back, I like Kevin Kiermaier. He's out there. Yes, he's injury prone. He had the bad injury that shut down his season this past season. I like his range in the outfield, defensively in center field. Gets to a ball better than anyone else I've seen in the league. As well as he could good consistent hitter would be in that Met lineup. Do you like that idea in the event his name's come up with the Mets? Do you like that?
He's coming off a hip injury, and he's never been known for his offense. He's certainly a terrific defender. I would still go with Marte in center and maybe use him as like a guy you can relieve him at certain times. Marte, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Brandon Nimmo's a nice player. I think he's being a little overrated, especially defensively. Remember this about Nimmo. He plays very deep. He's made some nice plays deep in the outfield, but he'll never take away the bloop hit that could kill you in the end. How many times does the bloop hit kill you in front in center field than the one over his head? Because usually if it's over your head and you're playing so deep, it's over the wall. So you have no chance at it. He improved defensively, but they're making him out like he's Paul Blair. I'm sorry, he's not. He doesn't have a great arm. They know to run on him, especially when he played. The Padres took advantage of it. He plays deep. So even on base hits, he doesn't make up for it with the strong arm. This is not, look, I'm not knocking his career. He's a nice player, plays with hustle, but for a leadoff guy who steals 3 bases when he's played 150 games, I mean, yeah, he can get on base all day long, but how many runs is he scoring? Last year, he actually scored over 100, but 3 stolen bases? There's no speed.
A great guy, too. I mean, he is a great guy.
Nice player. Nice player, not a lead. I'm sorry.
About a month ago, to go on that point, it was rumored that he would get a contract similar to Nick Castellanos, 5 years, 100, and that shocked me. That shocked me at the time.
Toronto's desperate for left-hand hitting.
Yeah, definitely, and he's rumored to get more even now. And that was a month ago about the Castellanos deal. Nimmo, he could be in that Springer sweepstakes, which was 150. He could make that deal if the team is desperate enough. Like we saw, I was going to ask you about DeGrom, how desperate Texas was, because 5 years, 6 years, that's tough on Jacob DeGrom. And going with Verlander, I want to get your points across with DeGrom, Verlander, and average AAV. It's just crazy right now.
Well, if you're a Met, if
The
you're a Met fan,
contracts
you
are
got-
crazy. Turner, 11 years,
I know.
300 million. Go ahead,
If
Howie.
you're a Met fan, you better hope this Verlander signing is not a been there, done that. Because remember last offseason? Oh, we got Scherzer. So we got Scherzer and DeGrom. We've got 2 Cy Young winners. How did that work out? It's
Right, that's what I
it's a
mentioned
risk
earlier.
worth
Yeah,
taking. I'll
I
say that.
agree. I
It's a
agree.
risk worth
But it
taking.
could
But don't
work.
expect
It could
guarantee.
work.
They're still going to have to increase their depth in the starting rotation,
All right, what
and
do you
especially
hear?
in the bullpen for their
What have
older
you heard?
pitchers who are not going to go as long. You can't do
jumped the
that to
gun.
them for a whole season.
No, you jumped the gun with me on that. I was going to ask you that next. What are you hearing to fill that rotation out? Because there are guys like Walker and even Bassett that may not be returning, and that would be a void. And even the bullpen that they have to restructure because a lot of guys may not coming back there. Have you heard anything? Lower tier guys that might be coming that they might sign or trade?
I wouldn't count Walker out. I'd bring Walker back. I wouldn't bring Bassett back. You know why? The Padres exposed him. He gets rattled. Now you're going to put him on the mound, a guy who gets rattled with this new pitch clock. Remember, he had the problem with the pitch com?
Yeah. No,
Because Bob Melvin had him in Oakland the year before. He knew how to attack him. Remember, they stepped out about 25 times.
That's
because
such
they
a
knew
great point.
You upset his rhythm, you take him out of his game. So, and then remember, he also complained about the scrutiny around here. Remember, he made a public comment about that. Remember, toward the end of the year,
Yes,
about how they scrutinize you around here. To me, that's a red flag. I wouldn't bring him back.
No, I agree.
Howie, are you hearing any other rumblings out of San Diego? Your contacts are similar and some not to mine about any other movement, about any other high profile days like Carlos Rodon. That talk to maybe Yankees looking at him for their rotation and
Yeah, I don't
Jameson
think they're
Taillon.
going to go 6 years.
You know.
I don't think they're
Okay.
going 6 years. I'm hearing the Dodgers may be in on Bogarts. So that's a guy to keep an eye out on. Yep.
Interesting.
We just got news.
Yeah.
We just got news about
Yeah,
the MLB
Riz.
lottery, and I want to get your thoughts on it. We can go right back to free agency with MLB lottery. How do you see that changing the game? And they presented it like it was a national coverage today on MLB Network just now.
Yeah, well, that's put in to prevent teams from just tanking and getting that high draft pick without just from not doing anything positive for their team. So that's why this came into play. So teams can't just pack it in for an entire season as the Astros did, and it paid off for them. But they were in the dumps before that. That was the way to go for them. They don't want teams like the big market teams doing that, or the Kansas Cities and things like that, especially with this added playoff structure. These two rules are kind of aligned. So, they have a network. Of course, they're going to publicize it and make it a big deal. And that's what everybody does.
I think Avery's right on it, our producer. He's going to put the image up about this draft that was just released. He's working, put it up right now. There it is.
Very good.
Yeah, there it is. That's the final result. And who's on top there with my vision the way it is? What do we got?
Pirates,
and the Brewers at the bottom. Yeah, this is all new to us. This is all new what baseball is doing, like you said, Howie. Very interesting how they're constructing this, though. But this is Major League Baseball now. It's all about business, and this is it right now, what they're doing. So there's that draft.
It makes sense. It makes some sense. Absolutely.
Howie Carpenter, let's shift gears because you not only cover baseball, but during the offseason now, you're at Madison Square Garden. You're on top of the NBA and the NHL. And you wrote a very interesting column on New York Sports Day just yesterday or the day before about the Knicks defense against the Cavs the other night. But Jalen Brunson, though, scored 23 points. What is it with this Knicks team that you were observing here as we get towards Christmas and what they're doing? I think that the consistency is very bad, as we know, and defense is an issue. And they can't back up Jalen Brunson like a 23-point game.
Well, R.J. Barrett hasn't developed as they hoped this year, and I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not down on him like everybody else is. I think there's a little bit of a problem there. Where I think Julius Randle doesn't really fit this team, no matter what he does I think he's kind of holding Barrett back. Barrett kind of defers to him a little too much. I don't think Barrett's clicked with Brunson yet. And Randall doesn't play defense, doesn't hustle. He doesn't get back on D. He he drives you crazy when he starts to put the ball on the floor. Thankfully, he's not doing it as much. But every time he puts the ball on the floor, you think it's almost like Gary Sanchez catching a pitch. You don't think it's going to happen. It's going to turn over. He's going to miss it. He turns it over too much. At least they're getting him better shots with Brunson. And this kid, Quentin Grimes, now you're seeing why they didn't want to get rid of him. He's their best perimeter defender. He's playing tough. He's playing really well defensively against really elite guards. Morant, Doncic, and then the other night, Donovan Mitchell. These are not easy guards to play against. He's giving them tough time. He's making them work for their points. So this kid can really play some D. If he can only develop a little offensively, they'll really have something here with Brunson. So there's some things to look for here. But I'm not. I'm getting a little down on this coach. I don't like the way he buries players on the bench. He stays with a unit too long sometimes. When you see it's not working, sometimes he benches guys with no rhyme or reason. Let's see where they end up. The GM doesn't talk to the media. They have no pressure on them, the front office, except from the owner. And, it's ridiculous. Nobody knows what they're doing, what their plans are. There's so many, really good Knicks fans in New York who really want to see the team do well. It would really capture the city if the Knicks were on top.
They would.
But they stumble along, year in, year out.
Obi Toppin should be in there every game, every minute. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I would play Jericho Sims. He shows, he shows you something, and all of a sudden he's not playing. I
was meaning to ask you, since you brought up Quentin Grimes, he's getting a much more playing time, playing way more efficient this season.
But they're looking to trade him. I've been hearing reports about trading Grimes. Oh.
Not now. That was for Donovan Mitchell.
I've seen rumors circulating about Emmanuel Quickley. Do you think that has any correlation with Grimes' productive play recently, with moving on from Quickley? If do so.
Well, Quickley's a chip where they have value. Yeah, he comes off the bench now. He's never really adopted to a starting role. He seems like a guy comes off the bench and provides energy off the bench. Look, if they can get something real good for him, I make a move there. I like Grimes as a star. I like Grimes. This is a guy. This is a guy who plays D on a team that needs to play D.
Yeah,
we'll do. Howie, let's go to the NHL. We're going to let you go in a moment. You also cover the Rangers, and you're very good at the NHL and analyzing better than me. Of course you do. You cover those sports more than me. But you also always were good at everything. You could outdo me anything you do, my friend. That's why I'm so privileged to know you all these years. Your knowledge of boxing is good as well. Come on.
Good, not as good as yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe some other people don't say that, but you do, and I appreciate it very much. I really mean that. The Rangers, we had Ashley Sarge on last week. He analyzed the Rangers and what's going on with the Devils and the whole NHL from his perspective. Briefly, what do you make of the Rangers? Do you think they control the puck well or what?
I think there's something going on there. We all knew, I knew before the year, we all knew it, that teams would come at them differently. They were in the conference finals. They caught teams by surprise last year. They didn't cough up the leads that they're coughing up this year. They were a much more, efficient team. This time around, they seem to trying to find their game. They're good when they go to the net, and then for some reason they get away from that from period to period. They have a lot of trouble with the second period at home, and that could be because the bench is on their zone is away from the bench, and their substitutions are coming on late, or who knows what's going on there. But they have a lot of problems holding a lead this year, and they should be a better defensive team. Igor Shesterkin hasn't played up to what he's played last year. Look, that was a high bar that he set, so the match stat is going to be tough. But the bottom line here is right now they're not in the playoff picture, so they really have to turn their game around. They have 55 games remaining. That's still a chunk of the season, but they got to really turn it around quickly, or this coach will be on the hot seat for sure.
Definitely. And regarding the whole Eastern I wanted to get one more question in with the hockey. Regarding the Eastern Conference across the NHL, there's so many great teams, but there's two outliers on the top. Devils. I believe we have a picture of the standings of the Eastern Conference. But what separates those two teams amongst the rest of the conference so far? You said it was 55 games to go, but so far, what do you see out of those two?
Well, to be honest with you, those two still have a lot to prove because, they may not be as good as if they're playing right now. If they are, God bless them. I think the conference it's still Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is really tough. Boston, they're a very good team right now. They're playing better defensively than a lot of people thought, even though they had a defenseman out in Charlie McAvoy who came back. They're getting the goaltending. So are the Devils. I mean, Jack Hughes is developing into what a number one pick should be. So maybe this is real so far. It's still basically a little over a quarter of the season.
Still early.
But right now they're setting the pace, and they're putting a lot of pressure on the teams that made the playoffs last year. Carolina, the Rangers, teams like that. They really have to get their act together. It's going to be interesting to see. It's good for the sport that these teams come out of nowhere, especially the Devils.
It is because the NHL.
Definitely.
The NHL needs that, and they need a guy they need the Devils, a team that's making this run early, and Jack and Hughes, as you mentioned, and the Rangers, of course, are always the top team to look at. Of course, the Bruins too, another good hockey town up there in Beantown, and they were a good home team. They win a lot at home. They set that record already this year. Howie, before I let you go again, you believe again before we let you go briefly. When we end this week, it could be tonight, tomorrow, Aaron Judge will be a Giant. Yes or no?
Right now, I'd have to say yes, and it may happen by tonight, a little later.
Yeah.
So,
well, all eyes on Aaron Judge in Major League Baseball right now. Where does the American League MVP, the single-season home run record breaker, Aaron Judge, Yankees or Giants?
I'll say one more thing. I'll say one more thing before I leave. It's good that it hasn't been announced yet. But
okay.
It doesn't mean it won't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of time to go with the winter meetings. It's only 6:04 there.
We do, but we might have Aaron Judge this situation resolved by tonight. Never resolves a situation. It's a part of the game now. Baseball free agency. Howie Carpenter, my buddy in the colleague for 40 years. Because Howie is official scorer of Major League Baseball, columnist, NewYorkSportsDay.com, and Sirius Mad Dog Radio. And, I have you on here because of your knowledge, not so much your friendship, but it means a lot to me.
Certainly not my
looks.
You're
not, no, well, not mine either. We're not all like the Wiz. He's younger than us. Give us a break. We got to live that.
It takes a lot of time for this.
You'll be there one day, kid. You will. Howie, thanks, my friend. Keep it in the
All right,
ring.
guys.
We'll be in touch. All
My
right?
pleasure. Take care.
And read his great columns on NewYorkSportsDay.com, website that I also write for. All right, Wiz, we're getting a top of the hour, running late. We're going to take a brief break, come back, and just keep it in the ring time, the boxing and the wrestling. Sports with Rich, live SJO Network, YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Me and the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, back after this.
Lock the door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. Say, you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
Well, at the top of the hour, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on the SLG Network and YouTube. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Sports with Rich. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm at Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, where you read my contact, LatinoSport.com. Where is the Wiz, Robert Rizzo? Where is he? Avery, did we lose him again?
Yeah, he said he was having some issues and he logged
Yeah, he's
out.
been
He
having
should be
some
back in
internet.
a second.
Well, that's okay because I'll talk some pro boxing now as we keep it in the ring, and then we'll do the wrestling part. We'll bring Kevin Wilson in as well, who's in the cube. Comments in the cube as always, and here we go with keep it in the ring. A lot of boxing, and I have a lot to talk about. And the truly, oh, there he is. Let me get the wisdom because I keep educating him about keep it in the ring every week when he's here with me. Pro wrestling, and also the boxing, which he loves. You can see he's wearing our Bella boxing sweater tonight, a promotion we're both involved with. And they're going to probably do a few shows, 3 or 4 in the new year. I look forward to that in the New York, New Jersey area. But let's look at Trilogy Weekend, Wiz. You don't have many of those, and we had 2 of them this weekend. The first one for the heavyweight title was basically a dud. It was all Tyson Fury against Eric Schiozoa. And there it is. Fury's got a tremendous right and a nice left as well for a guy that size. And again, he's in command of the heavyweight division right now, but not really because he challenged right afterwards. He's good for boxing, Fury. There's no doubt about it. He's a character. And then at the end, if you watch it on YouTube, he was in Schiozoa and him have respect for each other. They're friends. He went in his locker room afterwards. They broke bread together. The kids all see each other. Third time they fought. Fury now's got all 3 under his belt, retains WBC title, calls out Alexander Usyk to try and unify these titles, but it's not going to happen right away because Fury's got to get some surgery done to his wrist or his hand.
I'm glad. I'm glad. No, I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you brought it up about Fury, the post fight, and the both fighters hanging out in the locker room.
Yeah, that was great. It was great.
They were eating Five Guys together. They were talking about their families. They were sending each other prayers just about their fight careers and everything like that. And you don't get to see that a lot as a boxing fan. And across the media,
no, you don't.
That's something you got to take in, even if you see it on Twitter, if you see it in person. I love that.
He's good for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
He really is. Fury's great for boxing, but he wants to unify those titles. And Alexander Usyk is going to probably have to wait it could happen. It's going to be a fight next year. One of the big ones on the calendar to finally, hopefully, unify the heavyweight title. So Tyson Fury moves on, and this guy in his trilogy, well, you know what? I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it on the Zone. Chocolatito Roman Gonzalez, the trilogy with Juan Francisco Estrada. 36 rounds now. It's over with. There might be a 4th fight. Wasn't as good as the previous 2. Estrada wins the WBC super featherweight title. Estrada, this was a close, tight fight, Wiz. It really was. Toe-to-toe as these 2 guys at their weight will do. Estrada gets the last round that won it for him. 115-113. One judge had. I had it as a draw. Many had it as a draw. Could have been. Could there be a 4th fight with these 2? If you look at the punch stats, you see what I'm talking about. The first 6 rounds, a tale of 2 fights, as they say. The punch stats, let's put them up if we have it. The first 6 rounds, Estrada landed 86 power punches. Gonzalez, 66 of those in the last 6 rounds. He did 121. A fantastic fight. Not as good as the previous 2, but there's the punch stats to tell the story. A tale of 2 fights. I think Estrada won the first part of the fight. Gonzalez the last part, Chocolatito, and that's why we got the draw for most of the righties at ringside. So 2 trilogies over. Will there be more in boxing? That could happen in the new year. They're still setting up fights for the new year. It should be an exciting fight calendar for 2023. This Saturday, Madison Square Garden is Teofimo Lopez, the Takeover. His second fight at 140. It'll be at Madison Square Garden, the main arena. I'll be there at ringside. And Teofimo will be getting Sandy Martin for the WBC title, eliminated 140. And also on that undercard is Xander Zayas, a good one for Top Rank on ESPN. Undefeated junior middleweight, 19 years old from Puerto Rico. Looking forward to seeing him. Terrence Crawford. This is a busy fight weekend as they wrap up the year. Wiz, Terrence Crawford, WBO Integrated Sports Pay-Per-View. If you want it, you'll see one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. WBO welterweight title. He's defending it against David Abastan. That could set up Crawford finally and Spencer and Errol Spence Jr. in the new year. That's been delayed. But Crawford has to win this fight, and he should easily on pay-per-view. Regis Progress, this note, won last week. He became a two-time champion at 140, had a purse dispute with ARV Nation, the promoter. Basically, they put up the money. The 50% of his purse wasn't paid, and as of now, I think they settled that. But Progress wasn't happy about that. And hell, I don't blame him. He did the punching in the ring and didn't get it fully paid. Had to wait. How about this, Wiz? Like this about Canelo Alvarez and Lionel Messi. You heard about that?
I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah, the flag dispute in the locker room. Lionel Messi, Argentina team defeats Mexico in the World Cup. And so what did Canelo do? Supposedly Canelo didn't like that Messi stepped on the Mexican flag. Messi said he didn't step on it. He just pulled it away from his foot. But Canelo later apologized and made this statement. Every day we learn something new, and this time it was my turn. Well, he should have kept his mouth shut. Keep the fighting. Leave Messi alone. I don't think Messi meant any harm by that at all. So
No,
the
it's
week
just
to Canelo Alvarez for that. And this week,
Yeah.
it was they get something out of it because of Twitter and all that crap, usual. Saturday on the Zone, the good fight. Josh Warrington defends his IBF featherweight title versus Louis Albert. And Manny Pacquiao back in the ring. No, it's an exhibition. The 8-time only division champion in boxing. An exhibition on pay-per-view and in Korea, but they're making a big deal out of it. If you want to get that pay-per-view and want to see Manny Pacquiao again, there it is. Exhibition, Wiz. What do you think?
Ooh, that could be a good one. I always liked watching Pacquiao fight, but the exhibitions at that age,
It's an exhibition. It means nothing.
It's a turnoff for boxing fans, honestly.
Why would you spend $35 to watch Manny Pacquiao in an exhibition from Korea?
You won't find me doing that, but I know there's many out there that do. But for exhibition, I find it useless.
Terrence Crawford. There's a Warrington fight. There's so many other fights. There's Teofimo Lopez on ESPN. That's more important than that. Watch that one. And rest in peace to this man. I knew him. Great referee. Passed away today. I had a stroke last year. Couldn't recover. There he is. Third man in the ring. Mills Lane. There it is. He was the official when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear. Among many other title fights, he officiated as third man in the ring. Mills Lane was a gentleman, a lawyer turned boxing referee, and had his own TV show as a judge at one time. Again, fell ill last year, and finally today they've got word that Mills Lane passed away. Rest in peace, my friend. He was a good guy, as well as a great boxing official over the years. All right, Wiz, let's close up boxing, go to wrestling. Let's bring in Kevin Wilson. Wiz, contribute any time. I'll do this as quick as we could. Hey, Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Doing good on this Tuesday. How about yourself?
Yeah, we're good. How's Ray doing? We miss him. How's he doing? Feeling better?
I think he's feeling all right. I was talking with him for a few minutes today. His wife, I think is coming home soon from her surgery. So it's just a whole bag of
wow, he got double
a whole bag of
we wish
crap.
him well.
Yeah, we wish Ray the best.
We wish him well. Yeah, and we appreciate the time he's been on with us. Hope he joins us again, even with you, maybe the two of you together. Kevin, where did they reach you on the SLG network? How do they watch you, daytime, and so forth?
So you guys can go watch on Mondays. We do the BJD podcast, me and Ray. It's at 8 p.m. live. And Fridays we do Off the Top Rope. That's the wrestling show. The premier destination for all things pro wrestling on the SLG network. That's Fridays, 8 p.m. Live again. I'm hoping I can pull a couple strings. I can maybe have a live episode this week before I go away on vacation at the end of next week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nice.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's see what happens. You know how this business is, especially when we're on YouTube and things. You have to work things out in advance. Let's get to it. Let's keep it in the ring now with AEW at first. And Steven Regal's been the talk. And now we thought last week when we talked that this was all going to be just storyline, but it's not. It's real. MJF, that was the TV. That was how they did it on TV. Was get him out of the picture. Steven Regal's going back to WWE in some type of capacity backstage. But how did he get out of his deal? What do you know about that?
So, all I know is everything that's been told in the last week from Dave Meltzer, Alvarez, from SRS, Sean Ross Sapp, is that his deal is supposedly only to December of this year. That it was also a 3-year deal. That no, it's to December. That you've even got EC3, joining the fray and saying that Regal regretted signing as soon as he signed because AEW wrestlers and superstars weren't listening when he would offer advice to them on, hey, here's what you do in a match. Me and Ray have talked exclusively about AEW wrestlers feeling like they are above listening to an Arn Anderson, a Billy Gunn, and now William Regal.
Yeah.
AEW stars are now starting to come out and say, no, that's lies, fabrications. That's not how this is going. We do listen to people around here, but when you've got Adam Hangman Page tweeting out that he doesn't need to listen, I mean, it kind of paints the picture that maybe the rest of the locker room is having a tough time.
That they're to me, as good as they might be with their product, which I think is declining a bit, and the ratings are showing that, there's a lot of dysfunction there. And we saw that. Young Guns, we saw that with Omega, and now this. Regal going back with Triple H don't make sense, because Triple H is bringing back a lot of his old cronies, well-respected as Triple H. Let's talk Ring of Honor. Saturday, pay-per-view, AEW's emphasis with Ring of Honor. They own them. And Claudio and Jericho again. It's pay-per-view. There you go. Is another pay-per-view Saturday. This time wrestling. Ring of Honor. Jericho, Castle, and Claudio. Briefly, Kevin, your take on that?
So I think that's going to be a fantastic match. We know Jericho for 32 years, I think, at this point. That he is just a phenomenal wrestler, an excellent character, an excellent... I've said it before, he was able to make a clipboard go over, he got a scarf over, he got a potted plant over. Like, this guy could touch anything and turn it into wrestling gold. So, with this match with Claudio Castagnoli, who I think...
one of the best.
He is one of the best. He is one of the best technical wrestlers out there. It's a shame that his personality really only shines when he's streaming on Twitch. I think if he took that Twitch persona he has and applied it to his wrestling promos, I really think you could have something there.
Yeah, I agree.
Out of all the... I was going to ask Kevin one question about Saturday. Out of all the fights going on for the event, what could be the biggest shocker for you, the biggest storyline when we come into next Monday, next Tuesday?
Well, I know, I believe the stipulation for the Ring of Honor championship, if Claudio loses, he has to join the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah,
so I think that has a lot of implications, because now that it seems the Blackpool Combat Club is potentially over, or Moxley is the new head of the Combat Club, you could see implications that kind of ripple their way through AEW.
There's no doubt now... MJF is the hottest name in pro wrestling, without a doubt. More than Roman Reigns. He's got the charisma, the mouth, says what he wants to say. That's what the fans want. He's doing it. All right, let's go to WWE. Let's shift to them. Triple H, Monday Night Raw is just now got the interest of me again, as I said last week. 3 hours on my feet. I'm watching it. I don't turn it off. It's that good. We're seeing a lot going on here as they're getting ready for the Royal Rumble, which is still 6 weeks away in the new year. And the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens situation. Sami Zayn and and now Owens is now going to have Roman Reigns. And what's going? Do you like what's going on? And when does Sami Zayn again? Who turns on him and when? I hate that character though. I can't stand him.
So I
can't
love
Wiz.
the
He's a phony.
storyline.
He reminds me a lot of people that I despise that are phonies. That's Sami Zayn. Then I got to
But like that's the character.
Some
It's
reality.
that like the joiner
Well,
that hey, I've been
yeah.
Uzi since the beginning. I've been at number one.
Yeah, what do you think of
I've been we the ones from day one.
I can't
he's one of
stand it.
those types.
I
And
wish
this
they had this.
character
I
works
know
with his
yeah,
story.
I know this. Well, no, I don't like them though. Owens and Owens and Sami Zayn will eventually team up and face the Usos, and they're eventually going to have to drop those titles. What, at WrestleMania?
I would assume so. I don't see the Usos dropping the titles at any point beforehand. And I also, there's rumor that, when it comes to Roman with the WWE Universal World Championship, it's just too
Yeah,
long of
let's
a
look
name.
at that. Let's jump to that. Let's look at Roman
Like-
Reigns. Let's look at the talk of it to be Cody coming back better sooner than expected with the injury and surgery, and now The Rock. His name coming up more and more. A lot of hints on the Young Rock on the show. The Rock
yeah.
will win the Royal Rumble and then face Roman Reigns, which we want to do in Mania, which will be huge. And then that leads us to what title goes. There's a lot of questions about that.
So
About
that
Reigns in
leads
the
to-
title and who takes this from him.
That leads to three things from me regarding Roman, Cody, and The Rock. A, I do not want to see The Rock win the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble should not be won by a guy who hasn't set foot in a wrestling ring since 2013. In a major wrestle, I don't count WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. I don't count that. It should be somebody on the roster like a Drew, like a Cody if he comes back, or somebody of that caliber who's there full time. Two, they should not split the Universal World Championship at all. It should stay as a unified championship. I like the fact that you have one sole champion in the WWE. It should go back to that. Instead of it having be dual branded.
No, you're old
Because
school. You
then-
like it the way I like it. Yeah,
Well,
but
exactly.
but
It's that
doesn't
old
seem-
school.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking of it where
You know,
it's star power. So, you have a
But
Roman
you
Reigns.
talk-
That's a star that can go to both channels.
you talk to wrestling fans more than I do. I'm out of the loop with them because I'm not around really involved with it no more. And everyone knows a
Fortunately
big
or
part of my
unfortunately.
career was in pro wrestling. I did a lot of that. But what does it take from fans? Do they want to see Reigns? Do they want to see that split off him? What are you hearing?
I really haven't heard much discourse from splitting the championship from fans. I've just heard a lot more in terms of rumors from your Saps, your Meltzers. They're going to have Cody win the Rumble, take night 1, and The Rock take night 2, and split the championships that way. And it's just like, no, I think night 1 should be Cody taking the champion, and actually it should be the way it should be. The championship ends the pay-per-view. And to me, that's night 2, so it's Cody and Roman Reigns as the
Right, you got a
an
2-night
ultimate main
WrestleMania
event.
in April. Yeah, that's it too. Good point. And please
You
tell
know?
Dominic Mysterio, get to word to Dominic Mysterio, end this feud with your dad. Come on, he's horrible by himself with Judgment Day. I can't no more. Oh,
He's turning into this young kid who's just like this
he's a punk.
cockiness about him. This like
He's a
kind of
punk. I
punky
can't stand
attitude.
him. I've had enough of
And
Dominic.
he's got mommy. He's got mommy by his side. Like,
mommy,
he's
real.
great.
Well, I like real lip Rhea. I could call her mommy if I want.
By
Charlotte
the way,
Flair.
Rhea
I
and Becky. Before we get to Charlotte Flair, Rich, Rhea and Becky stare down last night. Give me that.
I saw that. Yeah, you're right.
Give me that
You're
for a
right.
year.
I just say, but something tells me too that they might be turning Shayna Baszler, they might be turning her heel. You know what a heel is now, Wiz, right? You know what a heel is, right, Wiz?
No,
They
I'm
might be
still.
doing that with her. The bad guy or the bad gal, the heel. And then Alexa Bliss, maybe you getting more hints about Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt again, which I don't understand. Let Alexa Bliss become a champion. She's got to be one of the most talented divas in the division, along with this gal. When is she coming back? Charlotte Flair. Because there she is. When is the Nature Boys gal? By the way, Ric Flair coming back WWE talking about a match. No. Don't do it.
I
Show
don't
up as an
see.
ambassador. That's it. Show up as
I don't see Triple H doing it.
the documentary
I know
on
Triple
Peacock
H
about it next week.
Yeah,
we're not
like,
Charlotte
I know
Flair.
Triple H goes and worships the
Yeah.
ground that Ric Flair walks on, but he's not going to go
What
and do
about
that. That's a
Charlotte Flair?
liability he wouldn't do.
No, he's crazy.
But Charlotte Flair, with her
when is she
return-
coming back?
If she doesn't come back at the Royal Rumble, then she's probably going to be saved for the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I don't see her coming back. I'm hoping it's Royal Rumble because at this point she's sorely missed, and it's just there's probably, to a lot of fans' minds, enough time away that they're not going to immediately go, here we go. She's like Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Just
Tried
like
to get
last,
off last night.
last night.
Kevin Wiz, we leave on a sad note with pro wrestling because I worked with him at one time. Barry Windham, heart attack at an Atlanta airport. He's in ICU, not doing too well. We wish him well. We hope he gets through this. Barry Windham, a part of the Rotunda family, and Bray Wyatt, and Rotunda, and all that. And Uncle Barry, get well. We're rooting for you, Barry Windham. All right, Kevin, always great. You and Ray, either one of you, the past few weeks, we keep it up with you here on this program, Sports with Rich. Great insights, as always, with the wrestling. Again, on the SLD Network, how do fans see you and hear you?
So you can go and see and hear me on Off the Top Rope Friday nights at 8 p.m., the premier destination for all things pro wrestling on the SLG Network. And Mondays at 8 p.m. is the BJD podcast. Probably the BJD podcast will come back in the new year, as we just, it's the holiday season.
I'd love to come on with you, and I will. We'll set up a day and time where I come on. Kevin Wilson, thanks, my friend. Keep it in the ring. Always a
Absolutely.
pleasure. We'll talk to you next
Thank you,
week.
Kevin.
Thanks. All right, Wiz, a little more wrestling knowledge to you, my friend, my young protege.
Week
As
by
always,
week,
we're
I'm
gonna take a
gaining more
break.
and more.
Yeah, I know you are. Where do I take you to your first pro wrestling match? That'll be fun.
It's funny. I've been to one, and it was one at the Garden. I had to be like 8 or 9 years
you've
old.
been to one. Yeah. Well, when I might take you one with me, be careful. I might body slam you right there in the aisle.
Oh,
no.
no.
I wouldn't do that to you. My young protege, who I haven't seen much lately, but we're back together tonight.
Love to be back.
All right, my friends out there, Sports with Rich, live on the SLG Network on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Wiz, we're going to take another brief timeout. Come back, go right through with the NBA, the World Cup, and nobody beats the Wiz. Back after this, like, comment, and subscribe. Sports with Rich on the other side.
What's good, everybody? My name is Caleb from the Bayou City Boys over here on the SLG Network. Happy to announce that we are now working with Dano's Seasoning. So if you're anything like me, you meal prep all the time, Dano's is the way to go, man. They got multiple flavors. Hit them up. Be sure to use our code SLG Network. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Peace.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo, well dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone.
All right, Wiz,
Spending money like it's
we're back.
We
What
are.
do? We don't know. See, he's over there in Wisconsin on the controls. We don't hear him in our headsets. All we see is what we see, and what you see out there, we hear. And we just don't know. And there you go.
Yeah.
Wiz gets up, and he's back. And I thought, hey, by the way, breaking news now. The Mets lose a pitcher. It's official. Right-handed pitcher John Walker He goes to the Phillies. Did you see this? 4-year,
Yeah,
$72 million deal, according to Anthony DeCuomo, MajorLeague.com covers the Mets. So Walker's gone, and he goes to the rival Phillies, and that's 2 Mets right now. Well, Syndergaard is a free agent, so he's not still there either. Maybe the Mets will get Noah Syndergaard to the rotation. Let's see, but more money,
Maybe, but
4 years.
more.
Walker, 4 years, $72 million, which makes me think that maybe the Mets will get Carlos Rondon.
That could be a rumor right there. We could see that happen. Taijuan Walker signed with the Phillies reminds me of, it feels like every 2 years, the Phillies steal Mets pitchers year on year. Zach Wheeler, Noah Syndergaard through the trade, and now you add Taijuan Walker.
You know what? They picked up a valuable arm for their rotation. That's for sure. I like Walker.
For sure. And
I like his
72
control,
million,
his command. Oh.
And $72 million seems expensive, but when you do the math, 4 years, that's basically 18 a year. That's a pretty good price for pitching nowadays, especially starting pitchers who can give you maybe 9 to 12 wins a season.
These contracts are unbelievable. 4 years, $74 million.
The theme is back up the Brinks truck.
Yeah, no salary cap in baseball like this sport we talk now. Sports with Rich. We go to the NBA a little bit, and let's take a look at these Lakers and Anthony Davis, Wiz. And the Lakers playing better basketball, better on the court. They're hot. I like Anthony Davis, and I like what LeBron passed Magic Johnson, the NBA's all-time assist leader, a couple of nights ago. But the Lakers are turning it around, Wiz.
Definitely, Lakers are turning it around. They started off rough on a rough patch. Now they're 10-12. They're 12th in the West. I know that sounds tough. 12th in the West. Bet you right now it's a 4-game discrepancy between the first seed and the 12th seed. It's a lot of season to go. Right now they're on a 3-game winning streak. And when we talk about the Lakers, obviously it comes down to LeBron. But the last 9 games, Anthony Davis has been on a scoring tangent. 25 or more points in each of his last 9 games. On the season, he's averaging basically 29 a game, 12.8 rebounds, and doing that, he's shooting 59% from the field. So he's doing it all.
So LeBron has no reason to complain now. Not at all.
No.
All right, what's going on with my favorite player? One of my favorites. Again, was
I was gonna say, give it another week.
What?
Give it another week. Something may happen with the Lakers. You know. Every week something changes with the Lakers, Brooklyn
What
Nets.
do you want for the most high-profile player in the league? What do you
exactly?
What do you want? That's LeBron. How about though Trae Young? He's one of my favorites. An altercation. What happened with Trae Young? He I think he has a little WWE mentality in him now since he appeared at a WrestleMania, one of their premier events a couple of years ago for WWE. What happened with him? Got into an altercation? I missed it.
Yeah, he got. So, during Friday's shoot-around against Denver Nuggets this past Friday, he chose not to attend the game. On the bench, he decided not to play, but he decided not to show up at all. He's rehabbing a shoulder injury. And supposedly, Nate McMillan, the head coach, said, play off the bench or don't show up. And he basically didn't show up. And my stand on this is it shouldn't have gotten leaked to the media. There's a lot of things throughout sports that me and you know in NBA, MLB, NFL. Not everything gets leaked. There's a lot of times that guys just need a day off. And to be honest, I think that's what happened here. It got blown out of proportion. At the end of the day, Trae Young is the face of the Atlanta Hawks. Why would the head coach and him be going back and forth? Right now, they're the 4th team in the Eastern Conference. The 4th seed.
I've never known him. I've met him a few times. Interviewed him. I've never known him to have a demeanor of being this guy that will get into any altercation with a coach, another player, whatever. He's a fierce competitor, that's for sure, and a good and a great player on the court. But not to do that. All right. How about the Phoenix Suns, a team I root for? Wow. What's going on in Phoenix?
The Phoenix.
With Devin Booker, 50-point game, 41-point game, without Chris Paul and a few others in their lineup. They won. They lost up one of the Mavs last night. It's Suns, especially Booker. He's on fire.
He's on fire. I'm glad you said it. I'm not trying to sound corny right now, but the Phoenix Suns are on fire. They're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Devin Booker's
Yeah,
leading the
but
way.
you know what'll happen. They've done the last few years, even last. You know, they'll go wire to wire. They'll have this great record, number 1 seed, and then it comes down to the championship finals, and there you go. They poop out. They lose. So what's go wire to wire and you get out of that, and you don't win the championship? I mean, it happens every year. I don't care what they're doing now because I know it's not going to last at the end.
Yeah, but
No.
you still got to play all 82 and depend on the postseason. Chris Paul hasn't been healthy throughout the season, and they're still the number 1
but
seed.
they seem to be doing well without him, though. They seem to be doing well. But
I agree with you.
Book is not going to score 45, 50 points a game. We know that. But they have a good nucleus on that court. They play good defense. They run. They shoot. That's the type of team they always were there in Phoenix, and they still are. But I just don't see this continuing like that at this feverish pace, as they say.
If the Western Conference was you had 2 or 3 elite teams and then the rest, I'd agree with you on that. But right now, the Western Conference is such a crapshoot with the Suns at 16 and 7. They're the front runner in the Western Conference right now. So obviously anything could give by Christmas, January till then. But right now, the Suns are where they want to be.
Is it crapshoot with the team you root for, the Clippers?
Yeah, it is a crapshoot for the Clippers so far. Right now, Paul George and Kawhi are both battling injuries. They played last night together. I believe it was the 4th game or 5th game all season they played together on the court. Kawhi hit a game winner against Charlotte. I believe 2 seconds left on the clock, but it was only 16 points, 15 points. And when you think of Kawhi Leonard, you're thinking of 25 to 30 points a game with elite defense. He's not there yet. So ACL injuries are tough. Hopefully by January or February, he's back at the full.
What about the team that Avery roots for? Is Milwaukee Bucks? The Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks, just name them the Milwaukee Giannis's because whatever Giannis does, he gets.
Yeah.
He's leading the league in a bunch of offensive and defensive categories.
I can't believe every time he does something, ESPN, it goes off on my phone.
Yep.
ESPN. It's always a highlight for him. Which I don't know why they do it for him and they don't do it for anyone else, but they do it for him.
No. ESPN slot is the Dallas Cowboys, Giannis, and some news on LeBron. Those are the 3 categories.
Not here at Sports with Rich, that's for sure. More NBA next week. Let's go to football overseas. Football, they call it soccer, the World Cup. World Cup fever's died down since the U.S. got eliminated by the Netherlands. There's no doubt about it. They're in the knockout stage right now. Big today upset. Spain loses to Morocco. A 0-0 tie went to the penalty shootout, which I hate, in the round of 16. I can't stand a penalty shootout to decide a game. They should have an overtime. But that's not the rules there with the FIFA World Cup. USA is out. Brazil right now looks like they could win this thing all. Let's look at France. They're in it still. Latin of France. What are you hearing about Latin of France and Harry Kane of England? Because France has still got a shot at this.
France definitely has a shot in this. They're 3rd in goals throughout the World Cup, 3rd in shots on target. So even when they don't score, they're very accurate with the ball. And it's because of Kylian Mbappe. He has 9 World Cup goals in 2 editions. That's more than Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez, and Neymar.
You are good with that name. Say it again.
Kylian Mbappe.
Oh my goodness!
I think
Let
that's
me say
correct.
No. Let me say it 5 times, and you know it's going to be incorrect. Very good, my friend, my young protege. Oh my goodness! You pronounce that like an expert commentator doing the World Cup. Hire the kid. All right, you think Brazil has a shot? I think Brazil now is favored to go all the way.
I think Brazil has a good shot. It just comes down to Neymar's ankle and how far he could take it. Because when you have Neymar at 100%, Brazil's the way to go. Argentina's the way to go with Messi. You can never go wrong with picking those 2. Another we just mentioned was France. So right now, the next 4 games, the final 8, we have Netherlands versus Argentina, Croatia versus Brazil, England versus France. That's going to be a must-watch game on Saturday. and Morocco versus Portugal, which is going to be a must-watch because a lot of Cristiano Ronaldo saga throughout the last 2 days. He got benched today for in his game, and his replacement had a hat trick.
Yeah.
His replacement had a hat trick, so that's soccer for you. You can never
They're the face of that sport. Ronaldo, they're the face of that sport. Messi, the face of the sport, and that's why the U.S. is out. There's still a lot of fever for it with these teams all over the world and fans and their following, and the ratings are pretty good on Fox here. And even though the U.S. is still out, there's still a following for it. Soccer is a major sport, my friends. Accept that. It is a major sport. The FIFA World Cup gives it that exposure. Besides the MLS here in the States, has got the deal with Apple TV, which is huge, $1 billion deal. And the MLS is looking to get a lot of these international players here to play for their teams in the MLS. Wiz, are you still on the World Cup bandwagon, even though the USA is out?
Yeah, I'm still on it. I was watching the first game today. Morocco suddenly advanced in a penalty kick shootout. I know you don't like shootouts, but I had to watch it. Noon? I think the game ended. Just like that, I got to tune in. And Portugal with so much drama with Ronaldo getting benched. That's like the Yankees benching Aaron Judge. That just doesn't happen. It was it went viral.
Don't
immediately.
say that. Don't say the Yankees Aaron Judge, Wiz. He's no longer a Yankee. He's not on the contract. He's not a Yankee.
That's like the Dodgers.
You use the word. What have I taught you since March? Use the word former Yankee Aaron Judge. Okay? Got it?
Got it.
Yeah. Transition. The guy stays away from me for 2-3 weeks, and he forgets everything I'm teaching him now. All right. More World Cup. Forget that. Well, the truth.
And it's funny. Avery's been keeping updates with MLS news, and you brought it up how so much news has been circulating with MLS. It's growing across the states. There's speculations that Messi could go to Inter Miami. That could be huge for MLS. And damn well when he faces NYCFC in New York, we'll be there covering it.
Yeah, and we don't know if it'll be Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, or Red Bull Arena till they get their new arena, their new stadium in 2027. It's like an eternity before that happens, but they got it. It's going to happen. All right, Wiz, more World Cup next week. But now, my favorite type of the program, yours is as well, and you know what that is. Avery, put it up. It's Nobody Beats the Wiz. Yes or no to the Wiz. I ask him a thought question, yes or no. There he is, the Lion. Last week, I came up with Jason Schott's name. Get to that in a moment again. But this is Nobody Beats the Wiz. This is his time. He hasn't done this in a few weeks, but he's back. You ready?
I'm back.
Wiz?
I'm back and
yes
prepared.
Or no? The Lion is ready as you hear the music in the background. Here we go. All right, Wiz, the college football playoff picture is just about set, but Alabama's not in it. We'll get into this when we wrap up the program later. Alabama not in the college football playoff for the second time. All right, with their 2 losses. And they're going to expand the field in 2024 to 12 teams. So again, like the season Alabama had, in 2024 they'll get in. Do you like that idea of expanded field again of 12 teams? You agree with Alabama being out of the picture this year?
I love the idea of 12 teams. It adds so much intensity to college football. It seems like we have the same 4 teams in the playoff every year. This is the second year that Bama's not in it. Georgia seems to be in the running every year, Ohio State. So it gives you that Cinderella story, that anticipation, and that's what fans gotta love. Many people are complaining that it's going to be no one's going to tune into college football. Look at college basketball. There's 64 teams in the tournament, and people still argue about the first 4 out. So at the end of the day, I'm going to enjoy the college playoff getting extended, and I think fans should too.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of Alabama, and that's disrespect to their program and their coach Nick Saban. But you know what? I want to different team, and I like it the way it is. All right, nobody thinks it was yes or no. Heisman Trophy Saturday. Finally, we'll find out. Khalid Williams, the quarterback of UFC, he's my favorite. 37 touchdowns, and TCU's quarterback May Duggan with 30 touchdowns. Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud with 36 and 3,340 yards. 27 touchdowns. 3 quarterbacks are going to be vying for it. Wiz, yes or no? Do those 3 belong there? And who do you think will get it?
All finalists belong there. They did it right this year. At the end of the day, I think Caleb Williams is going to win it. The narrative behind him transferring from Oklahoma to USC and building USC into a powerhouse within 12 months, he's going to win it. And he's most likely going to be the number 1 pick in 2024 for the NFL.
Well, we'll talk more about that when we wrap at the top of the next hour. All right. Nobody beats the Wiz. Now, free agency, we've been a big subject of the program tonight. Off the board now, we know Trey Turner. No, Stanzi, Swanson, Carlos Correa. We talked to Howard Carpenter about that. More so Correa than Swanson. But those 2 now, let's look at Swanson, Correa. After the Judge and the Carlos Rodon still available, who do you think is the top guy now that if the Judge that we look for to be signed out of the high-profile free agent? So, yes or no? Swanson or Correa as shortstops?
I would go Correa 100%. Correa's proved it in the postseason, not just being a productive bat. He was the Astros' elite bat for most of their postseason runs. He proved it in Minnesota. As much as they didn't make the playoffs, he was the face of the franchise for 1 year. Wherever Correa goes, he's going to make an immediate impact. He's an MVP type of player. Howie included it before. He has back issues, but that's the only issue at 28 years old. Many players are having back issues. We bring that up show by show, but Correa will be fine, and I think Correa is 100% the number 1 shortstop out there after Turner.
All right, Carlos Correa. Nobody beats Wiz, yes or no? The 49ers now without Rodolfo the rest of the season. The Ravens without Lamar Jackson for the next 3 in their playoff run. Can the 49ers continue their drive without their main quarterback and the Ravens without Jackson? Yes or no?
I have more belief in the 49ers still keeping at their pace because they're weak NFC West division. It's only
with a third-string quarterback running the show.
Yeah, I trust him against Seattle, honestly, over what Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have to deal through. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are looking like the Bengals from last year. They're getting hot at the right time. Lamar's hurt right now at the worst time. And the Ravens defense is below average at best. They struggle in crunch time, especially in the fourth quarter. So if I had to pick one, I'm going with Kyle Shanahan and his coaching system with the 49ers.
Okay. Good point. Good yes or no there. Yes or no with this. Where's the college football bowl season starts next week? There's going to be a plethora of them. I couldn't even name who's in what unless you look it up, or the names of them. Everything from the junk bowl to this bowl to that bowl to the toilet bowl. You know what I mean? So, are you enthused? Are you going to be exhausted? Are you enthused about the college football bowl season? I'm not. The only thing I care about is the semifinals of the Big Four.
No, I'm glad you brought that question up because every year I'm excited as heck for it, and I feel like college football fans are. And then when you get to it, you watch one game and you're like, nah, this ain't for me. I'll tune in during the New Year's Eve for the important games. There's too many bowl games, and that's why with the college playoff getting extended,
there's a lot of money involved. Games. That's why.
Yeah.
Because there's so much money. There's so much sponsorship. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. We're going to talk about one guy who changed college teams later, coaches, we know, and what he did, which I think was disgusting. We know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we'll get that later when we wrap up. All right, nobody needs to Wiz. The last one to close this up. All right, last week, Jason Schott has become a regular now fill-in for either me or you, and we'll be doing that more often with Jay. on this segment, it was not Nobody Beats the Wiz. We missed you. So I said, Jason takes the shot. You like that? Yes or no?
That's awesome. That's a good one. That's like an article headline right there.
No,
Jason
thank
takes
you.
the shot.
Well, we got it. So, Jason, if you're watching, and he's going to be hosting this program more often because I'll be taking my weeks off more often. Jason takes the shot. That's what it's going to be.
That's an awesome one. We
All
can't
right.
get better than that.
So it'll be Nobody Beats the Wiz. And then when you could do the segment with Jason when I'm not around, and you call it Jason Takes the Shot. And the tide will turn. You ask him. Or he can ask you. Nobody. Either way, you guys will decide it when I'm not around. You like that?
That would be a great segment. I know
Good.
Jason
I know
enjoys it.
Yeah, geez. I never heard a more enthusiastic awesome than Wiz than he just did right now. He jumped out of his chair. He jumped. And on that note, that's this week's segment. Let's close it up, baby. Nobody Beats the Wiz. With the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. And I'm Rich Mancuso. We're here at Sports with Rich, live on the SLG Network and YouTube. My channel, Rich Mancuso. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, when we come back from this brief break, one more. Back will be Rob, the Wizard, Robert Rizzo, and then Avery, behind the scenes, our great producer. They'll look at Week 14 coming up in the NFL and give their picks while I step aside. And I'll join you back here to wrap it up on the other side. You're watching Sports with Rich. Back after this.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone, rich and stacking to the ceiling. I'm dick long. Can never change the side I've been on. In 100 years, I'ma still be with my day ones. When it's said and done, fuck where I'm going, it's all about where I came from. You don't know.
We are back on Sports with Rich on the SLG Network every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tune in to us as we talk sports, MLB, football, basketball, you name it, we're talking about it, along with FIFA World Cup, college football. Like I said, name it, we're talking about it. But NFL Week 13, there was a bunch at hand going on. Before we get to it, Avery, our producer, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Riz. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I want to apologize about my internet connection. I may seem a bit laggy here and there, but you're doing a great job as always behind the scenes, and I always appreciate that.
Hey, man, it is what it is. Technology never works when you need it to, right?
Exactly. You know the way it goes. So we're talking about NFL Week 13. There was a lot of highlights this past Sunday, Thursday, Monday, you name it. There was a highlight every day.
Yes,
Lions had 40 points over the Jaguars. Cowboys scored 50 over the Colts. 7 games were decided by one possession. 9 teams are now have 8+ wins and expect way more throughout the season. I expect at least 2 or 3 teams to have 12 or more wins, and we could even see more. So it's just going to be a great back and forth throughout the rest of the year. And what do we have? 5 more weeks, just about?
We're looking at, so it'll be this week and then 3 more. So we got 4 weeks left.
Awesome. There's a lot of football at hand. Other than the college bowl season, you could skip that for now. You got to zone in on NFL Week 15, Week 14, all the way to the end because there's a lot of theatrics every Sunday. If you're tuning in to Scott Hansen on Red Zone, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Lots at stake here coming at the end.
For sure. And it starts Thursday night in Vegas. In Los Angeles. The Las Vegas Raiders face the Los Angeles Rams for Thursday night football. And we could get a Derek Carr versus Baker Mayfield matchup. We just got the news today. Baker Mayfield was claimed by the Rams. Big news out of Los Angeles, but it's going to be an ugly game, to be honest. Right now, the line is -6 for the Raiders, 6-point favorites for Vegas, and the total is at 44.5. I'm going to ride the Raiders money line for sure, and I think I'm going to go with the over, just expecting Baker and Carr to go back and forth, and I'm going to depend on Jacobs to get a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Vegas money line. They're the sure favorites here with Baker probably not being able to learn that offense in for less than 48 hours before game time if he plays at all for them. I like Raiders -6 honestly, so it's either gonna be Baker learn in 2 days or it's gonna be their backup quarterback. The Raiders have been on a tear lately. They've finally been able to score points. Devontae's had 2 monster weeks. Josh Jacobs has had 2 monster weeks with that walk-off 80-pluser 2 weeks ago. Yeah, in overtime, I'd throw the house on the Raiders this week.
Throw the house on the Raiders. I like what I'm hearing. Our next game, our first game on Sunday, 1 o'clock slate, New York Jets at Buffalo Bills. Big intensity game for the AFC East implications. Right now, the Bills are 8.5-point favorites. Total set at 44.5. Expect a lot of action with Mike White versus Josh Allen. Mike White last week threw for 57 attempts. 57. So they're going to air raid it even more against a guy like Josh Allen. I expect a lot of points to be scored. I get it's cold in Buffalo, but I'm going to definitely take the over. But 9 points, 8.5. I'm going to avoid the spread right there. I'm just going to go with the over at 44.5.
Yeah, a 44.5 for an over-under is kind of insane for what these two teams are doing right now. We see the Jets put up anywhere between 20 to 30 points every week. We all know what the Bills are capable of. The Bills just lost Von Miller to IR, who was their number one pass rusher. We all know that, which is going to allow the Jets to open up their offense more without him. I'm also gonna follow you over 44.5, but I think the Jets are that good of enough team where I'll take Jets plus 8.5.
No, that's a good pick right there. 8.5. We could see 29-22 just like that, 30-21, and they'll still cover, and the over will hit.
Exactly.
On the other side of New York, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. Eagles open up as a 7-point favorite. The total set at 45.5. And honestly, this is the week for the Giants to tell the fans and the NFL if they're legit or not. If they can compete with the Eagles and maybe beat them, give them a fighting chance for that playoff spot, that's a huge boost for New York. Daniel Jones leading the way, Saquon Barkley, but it's going to be a huge test against Jalen Hurts. He's top 3 for MVP. He could be the front runner for MVP after this one. -7 right now. I'm going to go Eagles all the way, even if it goes up to 8 or 9.
Yeah, I love Eagles money line here. Not Dallas. New York is going to be one of those teams, especially with how tight this division is. With I think just with the exception of DC, we could definitely see some swings in momentum here. I mean, the Giants had a rough week last week. Essentially, their production lies with Saquon and how he plays. It's if Saquon does good, the Giants do good, or if Saquon can't get anything going, they don't have any weapons on the outside. They traded away Kadarius Toney. Their number one receiver is Jadarius Slayton,
and he has the second most drops in the league.
Yeah,
just like that. So I know what you mean. They don't have star talent on the outside. When you see Daniel Jones having a 22 for 25 day, you're like 3 incompletions. That should have been more than 200 yards, but there's no stars on the outside.
A lot of their offense comes through Saquon, and I bet you out of those 22 receptions, probably 10 of those are to him.
Yeah, honestly, right out of the backfield with those screens and just those little slant routes.
Get your best players in space. That's how you win a football game.
Definitely get your best player the ball. Next up on the slate is the Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals. I'm very zoned in on this matchup because Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow is going to be the type of matchup we see year in and year out in the AFC North. And for sure, years to come, that could be an MVP race down the line. Right now, the total is set at 47.5. And honestly, Deshaun Watson, the last time he played, he did put up the MVP numbers in 2020, but over 700 days, but a lot of season to go, and they're only in year 1 of 5 for Watson. But back to the spread. The total is 47.5 with the Bengals as 6-point favorites. Right now, I love everything I'm seeing out of Cincinnati. Joe Mixon is getting healthy at the right time. Jamar Chase is healthy at the right time. I'm going to ride Cincinnati -6. If it goes to 7, I'll still do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily take Browns +6 or 7 necessarily, but I am going to hammer the over here. We saw Deshaun Watson, first week back, and like you said, 400 days of football is a long time for anybody. But that offense was still, it was 27 points, I think they were put up, 27, 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were able to put up 27. Sure, it was against the Texans. The Texans are the worst team in the NFL. But I think that might have been just what Deshaun Watson needed to put his feet back in the water. He might be, the Bengals defense isn't the best. Eli Apple was good at one point, but he's kind of in the same boat of like Trevon Diggs, where he can be a good defender, but he also gives up a lot of yards. Amari Cooper is one of the top 3 route runner in all of the league. We all know how great he is. Nick Chubb is arguably the best running back in the league right now in the form of a pure runner. That team has a lot of offensive weapons. We saw Donovan Peoples-Jones run back a 75-yard touchdown 2 weeks ago to win them the game. So
they got weapons.
They have weapons. There's weapons on both sides. This will be a fun one. Hammer the over.
For sure. 47.5, I'd hammer it too. Good point. I believe the next one on the slate is a 4:25 game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at San Francisco 49ers, and it's going to be Tom Brady versus a third-string Brock Purdy. The total is
put some respect on his name.
The total is set at 37.5. That's a pretty low total.
That is really low.
And what I was looking at yesterday, Niners were 3-point favorites. Line's definitely going to move throughout the week, but it was 3 points last time I checked. That's very odd, but I'm going to avoid the line. I'm going to go Buccaneers money line and definitely hammering the over at 37.5.
You taking Buccaneers money line against that offense? I don't care if it's Brock Purdy. We got Mr. Irrelevant versus Tom Brady, who was Mr. Irrelevant in his own year. Brock Purdy, after Jimmy Garoppolo broke his foot, which is super unfortunate, broken foot for Jimmy. He's out for the rest of the year. We're going to start calling him Jimmy Glass Garoppolo pretty soon. Purdy is going to be able to run this offense. There are too many weapons for him to not succeed. I'm going to go San Fran money line, hammering the over. 37.5 is too low when you have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle all on the same team. And then on the other side is Tom Brady and his weapons. 37.5?
Yeah, that's...
Give me a break, Vegas. Come on.
No, but it's similar to the last game. Browns, Bengals, Buccaneers, Niners. There's so many star-level talents on both sides that 37.5, 47.5, they're going to hit. That over is definitely hitting.
Yeah. Plus, the Niners have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're a top 3 defense right now.
Good point. So you got Niners, I got Buccaneers. We split on that one. The next one we got in place is the Miami Dolphins at Los Angeles Chargers. Dolphins are 3-point favorites with a total set at 52.5. Right now, Tua is battling that ankle injury. We'll see what goes. He's projected to start that game against Herbert. That's a battle of the 2021 NFL draft picks right there, Tua and Herbert, 2020 or 2021. I'm blinking. But I'm going to go
No, you're right, 21.
I'm going to go Chargers with Justin Herbert. I don't think Tua is 100%. That's a tough road game, especially right around prime. Yeah, that's a Sunday night game. So and it got flexed. So I'm going to go Herbert over Tua on Sunday Night Football.
I really don't know what to do with this because the Chargers got Keenan Allen back last week, but they lost Mike Williams, who's their deep threat. They're still running with 2 backup receivers in Palmer and Carter. They have Austin Eckler, who is probably you could say top 3 best combination running back in the NFL. And Herbert's dog. But that O-line has some work to be done. But you can say the same thing about the Dolphins. Tua, he earlier in the year with the psychological stuff he had going on, and now the ankle. But Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are just monsters of a receiver. They've been carrying him all season. They could run Michael Thomas slants, and they'll take that baby 50 yards for a touchdown. Probably 6 out of 10 times. I'm going to go Miami money line on this one.
Good pick. Make some profit right there for sure, because I think the line's going to change throughout the week. I don't think Tua is going to be at 100% or close to. And honestly, if they had another win, this could be a week that they bench Tua just to get another week healthy. But they're right in the midst of everything. They can't bench him.
They could, but even if Tua isn't fully healthy, just throw slants in the middle of the two of the fastest guys in the entire league. They have Raheem Mostert coming out of the backfield, and he's not slow in his comparison at all.
They have such an incredible duo with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle every week.
Disgusting.
We cap off Week 14 with Monday Night Football. New England Patriots at Arizona Cardinals. Right now, the Patriots are 1.5-point favorites with a total set at 44.5. Mac Jones versus Kyler Murray. I don't know why the NFL decided to put that on Monday Night Football, but we'll discuss that at another time. Pats versus Cardinals, 1.5 for the Pats. I'm going to ride with the Cardinals here. Many aren't. Many are saying it's Kyler Murray's time with Call of Duty, but I'm going to go Cardinals here. Maybe they get hot at the right time, but they're not going to make noise in any postseason regime or situation.
No. I mean, last year, these teams were both not in their division, but both of these teams were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The New England defense is nothing what it's been in the past. They've been a top 5 defense for God knows how long, the last decade and a half. The Cardinals looked like they were going to have a good offense. I mean, they get Marquise Brown this week back off of IR. They're coming off bye weeks. I think Murray was dealing with a hamstring. I don't know. I like Cardinals plus 1.5. The Patriots defense isn't what it was.
So we agreed on many of them, but we split on a few of them right there. But always tune into our picks. You have to, because honestly, we're the most accurate guys out there.
Oh, you know it. I'd put my record up here, but I couldn't get the graphic.
Last but not least, I wanted to mention this is the last week of the byes. The 6 teams on bye this week are the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, New Orleans Saints, and Washington Commanders. After that, we got a bunch of football. Week 15 on. Every team is playing each week. I can't wait for it. Playoff implications going to change. And like I said, college football season, NFL playoffs, it's not a better time of the year around the holidays.
Absolutely. And the last thing surrounding this week is for a lot of leagues, I know for some of the leagues I'm in, this is the first round of playoffs. And having teams still on byes going into round 1 of the playoffs could cause some teams a lot of issues.
Wow.
Like the Aaron Jones fantasy owners are probably hurting. The Christian Watson fantasy owners are probably hurting. You said the Saints, Chris Olave. You said
Alvin
the Falcons.
Kamara.
Alvin Kamara. The Falcons. You're looking at Russell Gage.
Wow.
No, not Russell Gage. He's not there anymore. But Drake London, rather, and Cordero Patterson, they'll all be missing this week, and those are big impact guys that these fantasy managers are going to be missing for round 1.
Wow, that's a big pickup for that's a good point by you, honestly, because fantasy football, it's that time of the year with that, but honestly, that's a big no-no for the NFL to be doing it like that. There's so many people invested.
Well, that's
in
what
fantasy
happens
football.
with the extended season. You're adding one on the back end. The fantasies probably didn't shoot their seasons back one more. So we got playoffs here at week 14, starting with teams on byes.
And right then and there, that concludes the NFL Week 14 pick segment.
Riz, I want to cut you off.
What's up?
There's one more game I wanted to talk about, which is a Vegas travesty. The Vikings Lions. If I told you that game with how the standings are right now, who do you think is favored in that game?
The Vikings have to be favored.
The Vikings, except that's where you're wrong. The Detroit Lions are they're 1-point favorites.
What are we doing?
A 5-17. Sure, they put up 40 points last week. I'll give them that. They have the worst defense in the entire NFL.
Wow. That's tricky by the sports books out there.
A 5-7 team is favored against a 10-2 team.
And there's going to be a lot of action because the total set at 54.5. Come on, Lions giving 30 points a game.
I don't know where Vegas is getting their info, but the Minnesota +1. Put the house on it. Put the whole retirement fund on it.
That's incredible.
The Lions are favored. I don't think the Lions have been favored all year.
Chicago Bears.
Okay, but still. Okay,
no, good.
1 out of 12.
No, great find there. I'm looking right now. I see 2.5 for Detroit.
Oh, that's even worse.
What's going on?
Minnesota +2.5.
Lock it in.
Insane.
Make some profit right there.
Absolutely.
But, no, good find there for sure. That does it for our NFL Week 14 picks. We're back every Tuesday night making our picks, our betting picks, everything across the NFL playoff picture. You know it. As always, like, comment, subscribe on the SLG Network. We're going to take a brief time out and get right back to it with a brief wrap-up, college football, and a bunch more.
The door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. They say you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
All right, Wiz, back and wrap it up for this Tuesday edition of Sports with Rich. And hey, by the way, you talk about the picks. People do watch this program and go with those picks because I do get comments during the week. So good job. That's why I stay away from it and why I've been, because you and Avery are doing a great job with that, as well as Jason Schott when he's on with us. And great job. And I didn't even listen to the Arizona Cardinal pick, but then again, why should I? They're done. They've been done for weeks.
No, thank you for the compliment. It's always great doing the work with Avery, doing it with Jason. The betting picks I love because day by day I'm checking the lines and it's changing. And Avery just found a great find.
Well,
Minnesota.
You're good at it. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't pay attention to it. But people do that watch this program. So we want you to like, comment, and subscribe of Sports with Rich here on the SLD Network. Also, my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. And again, social media, scroll to the bottom of the screen. Ring 786 to Twitter for me, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. I write for LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, among others. A lot of comment, a lot of poster up there now. And Wiz, where did they get you?
Catch me on Twitter, RobertRiz994, Instagram, rrizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and catch all my daily content on Latino Sports.
And, of course, we're running late, as always, past 2 hours, and I believe it's 10:15 p.m. Eastern. We always do because there's so much going on. No word on Aaron Judge yet. Still, probably won't tonight, maybe tomorrow. Let's look at this college football playoff again, the top 4 again, as we mentioned earlier, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State. USC is out because of their second loss in the Pac-12 championship game. That's unfortunate. Alabama out, and that hasn't happened much in this playoff. Now, here's what's interesting with this. Ohio State and Michigan in the semifinal for the national championship on January 9th. That's going to be a good game in this playoff. They got it right there.
Right now, we have the two playoffs are Georgia versus Ohio State and Michigan versus TCU. And both are great games because if we end up getting a Michigan versus Ohio State national championship, holy cow, because the ratings on that are going to blow up.
And you got the premier quarterbacks in the NCAA Division I that'll be highlighted and a part of the Heisman Trophy presentation Saturday in New York. Okay. All right. Notre Dame quarterback Drew Payne, I saw this. I think everyone did. It's gone to the transfer portal. That's a shame. 22nd nationally in quarterback efficiency. So the Irish will be looking for another starter. And that's the thing. There's this transfer portal now. Guys can go out. And that doesn't hold for these guys, though, in the Heisman Trophy watch of quarterbacks again. Let's run them down again. TCU's Matt Duggan, Ohio State's C.J. Stroud, Georgia State's Stetson Bennett, and Caleb Williams, who I think is the favorite and should get it. 4,000 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, tied for the most in the nation. That young man, I believe, is your Heisman Trophy winner Saturday.
I totally agree with you. He's the Heisman winner. He's been the front runner for majority of the season. Like you said, 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. In college football, to have 4 interceptions,
I know
that's incredible because I get it. It's an air raid offense with USC, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, you name it. Those are air raid offenses, and for him to get that with just 4 interceptions, come on. And he's a dual threat, similar to Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. He runs also, so definitely he's going to be the number 1 pick in 2024.
Yeah, and these guys are premier quarterbacks and might be headed to the NFL careers. What about Deion Sanders? Talk that I teased this earlier was, I mean, he's become the coach of Colorado, shifting and taking a new job, and he told the entire team to look at going into the transfer portal. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Deion, I mean, these kids, they're kids, really. I mean, the scouts, the NCAA refers to them as scholastic athletes, and Deion Sanders is telling them, you're out of here. He wants to start all over, a clean slate. What's with this guy?
It reminds you of, and it reminds you of all the transfer portal issues throughout every year. Because if these kids want to get treated like athletes, professionals that have to get moved year on and year out, they decide to move, then they got to take accountability. Colorado hasn't made noise in 20 years, 30 years.
To tell a new coach coming in, telling this entire team just about get out of here because there's an NCAA transfer portal that they can do. That's not right.
No, that's not. I
totally not right.
But that's the way Deion is, because every Deion Sanders video you see out of Jackson State, he has those guys grinding every single day, and I think that's why they're undefeated this year. They made huge ratings year in and year out with him there, and
it's still not fair to those guys.
It's
still not fair to those student athletes. It's not fair.
Yeah,
that's another topic. We can touch to that.
I'm glad you brought it up because that also isn't fair, but I believe what also isn't fair is the amount of bashing that Deion Sanders is getting. Every coach across college football moves jobs. They try to get what's best for them. At the time, he was getting maybe $400,000 out of Jackson State. Now it's $3.5 million, and maybe he gets another job in 4 years. He's working his way up, and that's the way to go. He's helping kids out at the same time.
I never was a Deion Sanders fan as a player. I was never a fan of him as a broadcaster, nor am I a fan of his as a college football coach guiding young men, young athletes to their future. And this is totally wrong. Wednesday was another NHL moment that we have to look at. This image, I had Ashley Shaw on last week, our hockey analyst expert, and brought up the comment, as I always say, I went to a boxing match and a hockey fight broke out. It's the other way around because the Bruins and the Avalanche got into something. Show that. Let's see that image, Avery. I mean, I don't like this. I mean, I know a lot of fans love NHL brawls. I don't.
Yeah, it was an ugly fight. Bruins versus Avalanche, I believe, on Saturday night. And here you go. You see a fight going on maybe 10 seconds here and there. But this fight was going on for 45 seconds to a minute maybe. And they were throwing haymakers back and forth. Helmets flying back and forth. But at the same time,
It's
you have
dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Yeah.
continue to let this happen, but they say that's a part of the game. And one of the things
Yeah.
that turns me off about the NHL is that if I want to see a fight, I'll cover boxing, which I do. and I will Saturday night in the Garden, New York, with Teofimo Lopez. But anyway, hope you don't see more of that. It's dangerous. And we've
No, it
seen
is.
we've seen that. We've seen some guys get seriously hurt, stretch it out because of these stupid nonsense brawls, even though I know part of hockey is contact, and that's a part of the game, but you can't get to that severity. I'm sorry.
Mm.
When is it going to wrap this up? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, and these guys fighting on ice, they're skating at the same time. You couldn't give
I
me
know.
$100. You couldn't give me $1,000 to do that and not fall.
Have you
Give
ever
me-
been on skates before and done? Have you ever been on skates with the puck and stick?
I've gone ice skating. I haven't played ice hockey. I played floor hockey, but
I
ice
bet
skating.
me and you, before the winter's up, we're going to go to one of the rinks in New York, and maybe we'll do a segment for the program if I'm still around. And here we go, and I'll bang you against the boards. How about that?
We'll have a hockey brawl, but not like that.
Yeah, well,
Not like that.
yeah. We've had brawls, but not like that. Okay. As I saw this, I got I don't know, on your iPhones every week you get your social media activity. And I didn't know you get that like that. They really go into to your analytics. And here's mine. I know what yours is probably with Twitter, but there's mine. Safari leads the pack. I don't think there's anything stupid on there. YouTube, of
you're
course,
good.
Facebook, Instagram. I'm good, right? ESPN. These are this is my social media activity for a week. It kind of describes me too. I'd love to see yours though. It's probably Twitter at top.
I'll give you my time report. I remember from this past Sunday, it was 7.5 hours each day on my phone.
Yeah. It seems that it says that my phone time, looking up the phone. What does it say there with the SLG network? Rich is on what? What does that say? I can't read my vision.
It had you on Safari for 10 hours this week.
Yeah, well, I'm on AOL as well. That's still everyone knows I'm on AOL. But yeah, it seems that it says my time decreases on my phone every week. It seems like I can't be right because I'm on it constantly, like everyone else. You can't go around without seeing someone on the phone. That's how the age we're in.
No,
So that's my social media activity. And then there's this to wrap it up tonight. And I want AB to come in because we're going to give the fact of the week answer. I got the right fact. We'll get it. But AB, come on in to wrap this up because what the hell is this? I've never watched the other night, late at night on ESPN. I'm flipping through and I come across this called a game. I think they call it Teal Ball. And they have a replay official. I have no idea what the rules are. I have no idea what that thing is in the middle of the screen there, the contraption. I have no idea what they do. Avery, do you know what that is? I know you knew the other stuff, pickleball and all that stuff in Wisconsin, because you guys out there do the most weirdest things. Sorry about that. But Teal Ball, have you heard of this?
I think I've seen it. It's like a combination of table tennis and soccer.
My.
Really?
I believe they use a soccer ball.
And they're on ESPN. It blows my mind. And they have a replay official. That blows my mind. Now, question. Just like pickleball or the other stuff, I wonder if they have that wager. But I wonder if this online, they have that wager in the sports book still. Teal Ball. Those guys are athletes.
I mean, if it's
Those
on
guys are
ESPN,
athletes. I
you
wonder
think
which
that
one
it's
they
got to
make.
be. There's an audience for it.
There must be if they're on ESPN at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
1 a.m. I saw that. Crazy.
Rich, just a little past your bedtime.
Let's see if we. Avery, let's see if we can find out who's involved with that. Maybe we'll get them on the program one week. They would probably love that.
Sure. We
Teal
can do
ball.
something with
I
that.
think they call it teal ball. Wiz, that's your assignment the next few days. Find out what this is. If it's teal ball.
I'll do my
Okay.
research, but I promise you I cannot play that game. And if you ask me to, I'd probably fall within 2 minutes because kicking a
Well,
soccer
they call
ball and
themselves
trying to get it on
they
the
call
table.
themselves professional athletes. God, I have no idea. I don't know. Teal ball. All right, guys. Fact of the week answer. Now, look, I got it wrong the way I apologize. My bad earlier. And remember, this is a fact, not tribute. So let's try it again. I'll give you a couple minutes to think it over again. We're closing down the program. We'll close out the program tonight. Cleveland has more titles in big city four sports than what other cities? That's what we got to know. This is the fact. Cleveland has more titles in the big four sports than what other cities?
And you said there were 6 cities?
4 titles, has more titles in the big four sports than what other cities?
I'm gonna go
All
with
right.
Buffalo
Yeah.
for one.
You didn't get any of them. Yeah, what do you got?
I got Buffalo for one.
No.
Sheesh. I'm cold.
What about Phoenix?
The hell with them up there in the desert. No.
Atlanta. They haven't won anything.
No.
How is
Hmm.
in
Tampa
the
Bay.
in the big four?
Tampa Bay.
Nah, Tampa's got 2 just in the NFL.
Cleveland has 4
Oh, two,
more
right.
has more titles in the big four sports than these cities.
Are we
I'll tell
going
you how
like
many
all
they
the
have.
way
1,
back to
2.
like before mergers, or
No, I have no idea. I just come up with the fact that I get, and I don't know, but I do know the names of the cities.
what about like
That's gonna be
Washington
impossible
D.C.? What about Washington D.C.? Are they on
Yes,
there?
Washington's one of them. Good.
All
We
right.
got
All right,
one.
so you
We
got.
What
you
about
got
like
one.
Minneapolis?
So you go ahead.
Hmm.
No. So you got one. You got a couple more. You got 1,
It's
2,
US City?
3, 4.
U.S. City or Sports
5.
City?
Yeah. Do they?
No,
Is anything
it's
Canadian?
no. It has nothing to do with no Canada, no other place.
Oh,
U.S. City.
So it's a U.S. city that
You
has
got
included all
Washington.
4 major sports.
Right. There's more titles in the big four sports than these other cities. You got one in Washington. You still got to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more.
Okay, so that excludes like Milwaukee and Green Bay because they've never had the 4 major sports.
Okay. Well, that would
is Seattle in there?
Okay. No.
No. What about
Anaheim? Is Anaheim?
Yeah. Well, Anaheim
No.
wouldn't have all 4. Or are
Yeah,
they
that-
considered part of Los Angeles?
See, I'm confused and I'm.
Remember, it's
tough
all
for
4
me.
sports. It's all 4 sports.
What about like San Diego? Is San Diego on there?
No.
No.
I'm
No.
giving up.
Why
on
am I
this one.
doing this nonsense? Is beyond me.
I
Why am I
don't know.
on?
Miami.
Why is this
I guess
continually?
Miami.
No.
Uh,
No.
Well, this probably
No.
goes all the way back to like
No. We're
1854.
we're running out of time.
I honestly don't
Well,
know.
it might. Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I mean, if it goes all the way back before mergers, cities
tell
that
me when you
haven't
guys are
had a
ready to
major
give up your.
sport.
Indianapolis?
Yes. So, I mean, this is why it's a fact of the week that I give you. That's tough. I can't give you easy ones every week. You got them already. A few.
Riz, India's never had a
This might be the toughest
a
one.
basketball team. I don't think.
Yeah, you're right.
Who?
Indiana.
Indianapolis.
Well, then-
That's where.
No.
See, it's-
No.
No.
I have
Let me
I'm
give
throwing in
you-
the towel on this one.
All right. Let me give it to you, and then you can agree or disagree, but it's a fact. It's logged as a fact. Dallas. Remember, Dallas 4 sport. Yeah.
Hmm.
More titles in the big 4 sports with these other cities. Remember, Dallas doesn't have championship teams except for the Cowboys. Think about it, right? That makes sense. All right. How about San Francisco?
Well, San Francisco was the home of Golden State, and they won 3 titles there.
No, that's Golden State. This is San Francisco. Remember.
Golden State plays in San Francisco.
No, Golden State is not San Francisco. Don't they play in Oakland? Golden State's Oakland.
Yeah, they moved there last year.
They moved.
No, according to the
They have
San
the Golden State Bridge on their logo.
But that's San Francisco. It's different than Golden State. That's Oakland.
State is in the town. All right, go on.
Technical
Go on.
is true. Washington was what Avery's getting real. I've never seen him so upset with me, especially fact of the week.
I want this bobblehead.
You're jealous.
I'll
of
get
Cal.
you one, but you got to get that. All right. The other one is maybe. How about Baltimore? That's another one.
Sheesh.
I thought the Orioles won a couple.
How
of
many
baseball
champions?
ones early,
Look.
man.
What
I think
about
2 or 3.
Baltimore?
Well, the Ravens have 2 Super Bowls.
All right. Then
Yeah.
there's the Orioles. What else?
That's it for Baltimore.
Okay. So,
That's
all
one.
right.
What's their
Let's
basketball team?
continue with these. Let's get the
They
other
don't have
two. Denver.
Oh. They have 3 rings with the Broncos.
Peyton has 1.
And that's it.
Elway.
Denver doesn't have more than 3.
Elway has
And then how
2.
about this one? You want the final one?
I'm
You
writing
want
them
the final
down.
one? I mean, I have to give it to you. All right.
What's the last one?
And the final one is Houston.
Houston.
Houston. Yeah. 2.
Yeah, well, you got a problem, Houston? What?
2.
No,
2
the Astros won this
2.
year. I thought
But
the
you gotta
Astros
remember.
had 3.
What? Remember,
They have 2.
though, that's just baseball. It's all. Remember, it's in the big 4 sports for the world champion Houston Astros.
So Houston, I got Houston.
Right?
Yeah. Houston was 1.
No,
Baltimore,
it
Denver.
is Dallas, San Francisco, Washington, Baltimore, Denver, and Houston. And by this point, I think everybody's fed up with me. I think everybody tuned me out already and said, what the hell is Rich doing? But that's a fact.
No, that was a good one. It just there was a lot. There was a lot of guesses because me and Avery, we were very inaccurate tonight.
Yes, I know. Well, what do you think? I'm just going to give you an answer that easy every week. I'm not going to do it. Avery, try again. Okay, your friend. Look at that perplexed look on his face. He's still wondering.
I'm looking.
seen
I'm
like
looking
that.
it up. I want to prove myself wrong.
Well, he's looking it up. Should we wait on the air till you get it, or you want to text us later? Because it's time to go.
I'll tell you guys. We'll do it off the air. All right. I'll bug on out of here.
We'll talk about it later. But that's my fact of the week. Try again next week. Avery, good sport. Thanks for a great job. 2.5 hours of fun and information. Everything else is always on sports with Rich. I hope to see you next week. And speaking of that, Wiz, I'm not here next week. So here we go again. We separate again. Jason Schott will be here next week. I need to take the week off. And, and that's going to happen a little more often. I'm going to be taking my weeks off. I have to. And soon it's going to be retirement for Rich Mancuso. It's coming. It's coming close. I'll still be acting in some other endeavors. I will have the announcement. I'll know in a couple of weeks when this is all going to pan out. It's pending on a few things. It doesn't mean that I'll be done with the show. I'll just be taking some more weeks off. I'll be here consistently as much as I can. next week I have to take off because of a commitment that I had, which I got to do. It's holiday season, and I have to do. I'm working on a project in Puerto Rico, and I have to commit to that. But there will be weeks like that, and we're in good hands, Wiz, because if I'm not here, you'll have Jason Schott with you, and he'll be here next week holding the fort again. And I'll be back with everyone 2 weeks from today. So I'm not going nowhere right away, but I just want to give everybody a warning, including you, a warning. Just want to give you an advisory that I won't be here next week. But a great 2.5 hours of show, a lot of content. Aaron Judge and the baseball and Howie Carpenter again. Thanks a lot to Wilson again. What's his first name? What's our guy's name with the wrestling? I keep forgetting his first name.
Kevin Wilson.
Kevin Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson. I don't know why I drew a blank, but Kevin, thanks again for keeping it in the ring. You'll be on with the guys next week, and you'll come up with a good show as you always do when I'm not here. Wiz, it's been great. Don't forget, everyone, log on and like, comment, and subscribe on the SLG Network, Sports with Rich. Also on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. The content is there also. You read me at latinosports.com, newyorksportsday.com. Twitter, ring786, facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Where did they reach you again, Wiz? One more time.
You can follow me on Twitter, RobertRiz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and read all my daily content on Latino Sports.
And do a fact of the week next week. See if you can better what I did this week. My young protege, Robert Rizzo. Good to see you again, my friend. We'll get together, too, I'm sure, in a couple of days. You know, we got to catch up. I have not seen this young man in a month.
We'll definitely catch up. We'll plan something out.
Yeah, we have to plan something out because I have not seen him in a month, but he's still around and doing a great job as always. Read his content as always. My friends, that'll be it for this week. Great 2.5 hours. I want you all to remember, as always, as I always say, to stay safe, be well, and be good to each other. Till next week, as I always tell you, Wiz, as we tell everyone when we close the show,
keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring. Take care, everyone. God bless. Till next week. Thank you.